draft stuff. A great interview with Daniel Jeremiah on with Brock and Salk this morning. Unfortunately, we got to start by looking back. We got to look back at last night's game because, frankly, while it's not a fun topic to talk about a loss, I can't stop talking about it. I can't stop being frustrated, Bump, about everything that is wrong with this team. Runners left in scoring position, 19. 1 for 19 runners left in scoring position, 19 strikeouts. Seattle has a 139 average with runners in scoring position, which was the worst in MLB and continues to be. How are you feeling after last night's gut-wrenching loss?
Oh, man, not good. I mean, we can continue to talk about the losses because that's what they've given us so far this year, 4-8. And it's kind of just the way that they're doing it. You mentioned the big stat of the night, 1 for 19 with runners in scoring position. Yes, you did go into extra innings. All right, so make it 1 for 15. Don't matter. 1 for 14. Okay, doesn't matter.
1 for 15 is better.
It's still not good. And it feels like you have opportunities. It's like in football terms, I'm a football player, right? It's like you're driving down, you get to the 5-yard line, and your playbook is dead. You don't know what to call. You don't know what to do. And it feels like you're trying to run in a dream and you can't run. You're trying to punch somebody in a dream and you can't punch. Just everything is working against you. And it's frustrating, man. Your bullpen is getting used a lot the past couple of games. And honestly, would you give a 1 earned run yesterday? You know, you had an opportunity. You had plenty of opportunities to tie this thing up or maybe go ahead and just not able to do it. It's frustrating. I could imagine they are frustrated as well. You think these guys are just going home and saying, oh, well, we'll get them tomorrow. I mean, they have to have that kind of mentality, but in the moment, they know that they have plenty of opportunities and just not getting it done. And the biggest one for me is just Julio. Julio having opportunities to have that moment. And then I'm starting to get concerned for his mental now because the Julio is overrated fan group, they got some ammo now. And I don't want them to have ammo, but you have to go off of what you've seen so far out of this team, out of him. Just not good enough. It's the same old story, different year, 2025.
Let's hear what Dan Wilson had to say about those runners in scoring position failures. Cut number 1. Take a listen.
I mean, tonight's one of those nights. It just was not, it was a tough night offensively for us. But, we've all been around baseball. We know that, the game tomorrow and things could change, in a heartbeat. So, I think we're going to continue to do what we do and get prepared and be ready to play in the morning.
I think 2 things are true about this team. 1, there is a reality to baseball being at times very volatile, right? You can go on a run, and every single team is going to have a stretch of horrible play, and most of them are going to have a stretch of great play where you go, maybe they turned it around. It is just the randomness that happens with a sport where there is a lot of failure and in a sport with 162 games. But that being said, the Mariners are a team that far more often than not has struggled offensively. And so when you hear a manager, or anyone for that matter, say, look, that's baseball. You have bad nights, you have good nights. It doesn't feel as fair a summation of the issue because you're like, well, but I want to know what the answer is.
Right.
I want to know what you guys are doing because we've heard the not a great night for the bats line way too many times.
Yeah. And the narrative going into this year was that, well, we finished so strong last year. The bats got going. The bullpen was decent. The rotation was on point. So you're hoping it feels like 2001 when you had rollover minutes, right? You had about 900 minutes to work with for the month, and then the next month those minutes roll over.
Except for weekends.
Except for weekends. We were hoping for the rollover minutes when it comes to the way these bats were producing towards the end of the season, and we just haven't seen that. And that makes me question, there are only a few teams that can run it back. I think I read an article about the Phillies not doing much this offseason because they felt like they had a good team. They want to run it back. The Dodgers didn't have to do too much. They can run it back. The Yankees, there are only a few teams that can essentially roll out the same lineup and say, we have an opportunity. And the Mariners just aren't one of those teams, or at least they haven't shown to be one of those teams. There's still time. Who knows what happens from there. But there just has to be some type of activity, man. And we were joking before the show, like it's too early to make a trade. Ain't nobody trading right now. You got to wait until you get 50, 60 games in, and then possibly things start happening. It's just disappointing to see the opportunity to know exactly what you have to do in this situation and just not getting the execution that you need. And we're hoping for guys like the bottom of the lineup, Bliss and Crawford, to kind of spark this thing, get the top of the order going. You move Demo into that leadoff spot, and now he looks like he's slowing down a little bit. One game, he's still batting 308, and his numbers are decent when it comes to the slash. But it's frustrating to watch because they put themselves in position to do something and they just can't finish. They get to the 5-yard line and a snap goes over their head and everyone's yelling at Gino.
They get a tip of the cap and credit in hoping that Jorge Polanco can have a bounce back season, feeling like his injury might have hampered him more than we all thought last season. He looks great so far to start the year. He's the best and most consistent hitter for the Mariners. Unfortunately, he's not fully healthy. But yeah, tip of the cap for being right there. Doesn't mean I feel good about the team as a whole. I'm optimistic enough in that it is April. We're 12 games into the season, and we're waiting to see what happens in an AL West that's also struggling offensively. It's not like the Astros are putting up big numbers yesterday or in this series as a whole. Like the Rangers and Astros have also had surprisingly bad starts to the season. However, this is a problem that has persisted over and over and over again. And one of the things that I think Jerry Dipoto was really hitting home for him during off-season talk was, look, the end of the season was so good for us. And the numbers were there. Right. The end of the season was. It was statistically their best month, September, October, their best month. Where's that carryover? You know what I mean? Now that's feeling like more timing, luck, good health, a good stretch of games, better opponents. Like it feels more like luck than it does anything you can actually carry into this season, because so far, all due respect to Dan Wilson, it's not looking like he has all the answers. Yeah. It's not looking like this is a club that hit the ground running. They are not building on anything from September. They're coming in looking a lot like a club that has the same problems this year they did last. Struggling with runners in scoring position, struggling to get timely hits, struggling to get hits at all. And, the pitching looks phenomenal. And that was still the case yesterday.
Yeah, I mean, was it fair to expect Dan to come in with Edgar and just change the way this team operates? There's only so much you can do with personnel. Right, there's only so much you can do with the same type of player, the same player you got coming back. I'm looking at the lineup from last night. Demo, Rodriguez, Cal, Randy, Mitch, Solano, right, new addition. Other than that, Rayleigh, Bliss, and Crawford. No real changes to this lineup. So you can expect a little bit of improvement, but it's not like you're going to drastically change who you are. And that's the tough thing in sports, is just you have 162 games to show exactly who you are or who you've been over the past couple of years. Is it fair to expect them to make that turnaround? The only reason why we did expect that or gave room for that is because of the belief that we get from the people upstairs making these decisions. And maybe they still believe that there can be some type of turnaround. You are 12 games into the season, and we're still seeing some of the shortcomings of last year. But at some point, you got to put together 2 or 3 games. That's how you get people to start believing that maybe the philosophy is starting to work and guys are starting to buy in and just be responsible at the plate. That's the thing that kills me, is just some of the decisions to swing at some of these pitches have just been horrible. And then even when the meatball is laid up beautifully for you, you just don't connect. A Rosarena swung out of his shoes the other day, one right down the pipe, and he's just not able to execute in those situations. That's the difference between good teams and average teams, is that when you lay one in there, middle of the plate, they're making contact, they're hitting hard, and they're driving into the gap or driving it out. We just haven't seen that recently.
I'd love to have a behind-the-scenes look. I want to know exactly what their philosophical approach is to both building the roster and the profile of hitters they target, and also to how they approach their at-bats and how they are in their plate appearances and how they view their offensive kind of approach. And I'd love to know if there's a misalignment there. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, Mike Salk was talking about it this morning, and I thought it was really interesting, where he was saying it feels like they're kind of in the middle, and you've mentioned this before too, with the profile of hitters that they want. Like, you talk about being able to, small ball is a horrible way to say it, but to pit balls and play more often. But then you kind of eventually depend on home runs. You don't get players that hit for contact. You don't get players that have high averages. You do get guys where you kind of go, well, Garver has pop. We'll put him out there. But then does your approach philosophically align with, like, just home run hitter? You know what I mean?
Just with the type of roster
I'm making this sound very, I'm summarizing a great point from Mike and one that you've made poorly. But what I'm saying is, I would love to know if there's a misalignment with how they're building this team and with how they've decided to coach up these players and have them approach these at-bats.
I think that's a fair question. I'll look at just some simple numbers, right? We don't expect this team to hit home runs. That's not the way they were built, right? 13 bombs, 9th most in MLB right now, 13 bombs. that's not the way we thought they were built, right? We were expecting them, just like you said, put the ball in play, get runners in scoring position. Let's do that. 33 RBIs, the fourth least in the game right now. Simple stats, but I think it paints a picture for you. It's like, look, we want to be a team that football terms. I love doing this. I know you don't like doing it, but I do it, Stacy. All right, football. We want to be a team that runs the rock, Seahawks, last year. But yet Geno's dropping back the most in the league, and you're tossing the football up. You're not able to get things going. It aligns exactly with what you're saying. You want to be a team that just puts the ball in play, moves runners over, and get the risk going. Do you have a team that is built like that? I don't know. I don't know. It doesn't seem like it to this point. It seems like there's a disconnect when it comes to philosophy and performance. And then that's the thing when it comes to any type of sport. You have to take what you do in the offseason, drill it into your players. This is how we're going to play. All right, then you have to take it to the into the regular season. But it ultimately comes to the player. Can the player be disciplined enough, right, to stick to the philosophy and believe in it? That's what I'm scared about, is that I don't want Dan and Edgar to lose the team. Because once you lose the team, guys start doing their own thing, and then it starts to snowball and things could get worse. Now, there's still a lot of baseball left. There's still opportunity for Dan to coach these guys up and the rest of the coaching staff to get them on the same page and to kind of buy back in. And I'm not even saying they're not bought in, because I don't know. I'm not in the dugout. I'm not in the clubhouse. I don't know. But I just know what we've been told and what we're seeing, and it doesn't align. But, there's always an opportunity today to kind of fix that and get guys believing again.
Well, let's end on a feeling of believing again, because I hate opening a show, especially when we're at the ballpark. We've got matinee baseball. Even when I'm frustrated after a really ugly loss, I'm still looking forward to the next game. That's how every single person feels. Right now, you're complaining about the team and you're mad at the team, and you absolutely will be tuning in because we love sports, we love baseball. That's what we're here for. So I do want to end, Bump, replaying a cut that I played you and listeners yesterday. This is about whether or not the M's could go on a run. Cut number 4, Jeff Passan certainly believes they can.
It wouldn't surprise me to see the Mariners. I don't know if it's going to happen this week. I don't know if it's going to happen next week. But it would not surprise me to see the Seattle Mariners go on a run because they start getting a little bit better luck in those situations. The average on balls in play with runners in scoring position this year is 175, I believe. That's not good, and that is definitely going to get higher. But I look at this team, and I don't know. I just feel like they got a run in them coming up, and it would be a pretty good time to have it with 2 more games against the Astros and then 3 against the first-place Texas Rangers, who, by the way, have had an even worse offense than the Mariners have this year.
For as much as we've started the show lamenting the lack of additions, Bump, are you thinking when you look at this roster, I am expecting more? I do expect more from this team.
A little bit. I expect a bit more than what we've seen so far, because this is what they've done a great job of doing, right? Just walks. They walk 11% of the time. That's 4th best in the game. So they're getting on base. They have what the 19 stolen bases, 3rd most in MLB. Like they're finding ways to get guys on base, right? And sometimes all it takes is just a nice streaky run of just solid contact and getting lucky at the same time. We all know in any sport, luck is a huge part of this thing as well. How many times have I saw Julio rip a couple of the last series and have it hit right to the shortstop or to the left fielder? I've seen Randy do the same thing. Unlucky type of stuff, right? You square that ball up and sometimes it just doesn't go your way. If they can continue to walk and be aggressive on the base path, that was fun to see, right? Mitch Garver has his first stolen base of the year. He has like 6 to 9 his whole career. Luke has his first stolen base of the year. Julio gets going as well. It's not for a lack of trying. They're trying to be aggressive when it comes to base running, but you have to connect it with the bat. So if they can continue to do that, continue to get on base, to be one of the leaders when it comes to walks and stolen bases, there's opportunity for them to get on that run. But when you go 1 for 19, runners in score position, that's what deters all the work that you do to give yourself those opportunities.
All right, we are going to take a listen to the latest draft insight from Daniel Jeremiah coming up at 10:30, at 10:45. My favorite segment, Get Off My Lawn. At 11, Yahoo Sports' Jordan Shusterman is going to join us. If you have not heard Jordan before, you guys are going to love him. He is a national expert on baseball for Yahoo Sports, but also does watch the Mariners closely. So we get a little bit of both. We get a dip into Seattle and his takeaways and analysis there, and then figure out what's going on around the rest of the AL West and the world of baseball right now. Let's get to headline rewrites.
Extra, extra, read all about it.
Headline rewrites.
We must make headlines.
The real story behind the headlines in today's news with Bump and Stacy.
Denver Nuggets fired head coach Mike Malone on Tuesday with only 5 games left in the regular season. What's the real headline?
Anything that happens to the Nuggets now can be considered post-Malone.
Oh, I like that. Post Malone. He's changed a lot over the last 5-6 years, by the way, Post Malone.
He sure has. He's so
changed a lot.
talented, though.
Yeah, he is. This one baffles me because Malone has done a great job with the Denver Nuggets. You got arguably the best player in the game. And the Joker doesn't seem like the type of player that goes to management and says, look, I don't like the head coach. Let's get rid of him. But them making this move, there's no way they didn't consult in the Joker because he is the best player in that team, the best player in the game. It has to be relationship-based. Something happened in philosophy, something happened at dinner, something happened in the locker room. This isn't based off of basketball because they're in position to be in the playoffs once again and to make a run at this thing. And when you have the cohesiveness on the court that the Nuggets have shown over the past 3 to 4 years, the head coach has a lot to do with that. So this has nothing to do with basketball. This is something that happened in between the lines, or outside the lines, I should say, with relationships, philosophy, who knows. This one baffles me because just a couple years ago, they're on top of the world, and they're talking about winning another one in the next 2 or 3 years. Interesting decision by the Nuggets.
Headline rewrites.
Luka Doncic
Will make his return to Dallas as an opponent for the first time tonight. What's the real headline?
Considering the vibe with the Mavs, maybe Luka did shed some weight after all. I got to go back to Matt, admittedly not a huge sports fan, but that's kind of why everyone loves you. Like, that just you blatantly don't even try. You're like, look, I'm here to be great.
I'm just here so I don't get fined.
Yeah, I'm here so I don't get fined. It's not my job to know sports. It's my job to make sure this show runs smoothly, and you do an amazing job. Did you go to, like, a Google pronunciation app?
That is exactly what I did.
Nice.
Look,
I'm proud of you.
I knew it was pronounced strangely. I knew it wasn't donkic, as I wanted to say. And so I figured this was the safest way to do it.
Fair.
That's how you do it.
Proud of you.
I want Luka to just ball out. You know, I want him to flex on his ex-girlfriend on Instagram. Like, look at me, I'm doing great. I'm dropping 35 on the team that got rid of me. And I want that stare to the GM that he had when Dallas came to LA after he made a bucket. I need all of that. Luka, I feel like, plays his best when he's angry. Now, you gotta chill. Can't be yelling at the referees. We know that he's known for that. But when he is motivated and angry, he gets after it. I need that for my man in tonight's game.
Do you feel, or have you found yourself feeling differently about this trade as the weeks have gone? Because initially you were like, it makes sense for both sides. And we were like, bump, stop it. Yeah. You are feeling guilty for the highway robbery that this trade was for the Lakers. And you're trying to justify it for Dallas so that you can sleep at night. Do you find it now where you're like, nah, it was a horrible trade?
Nah, I was wrong because I didn't think that Luka and LeBron would mesh so well. And I didn't think that the Lakers would turn up their defensive play and kind of help cover up Luka's shortcomings because we know he's not a great defensive player. And then when you see Kyrie tears ACL and then AD went out with an oblique, then I was like, yeah, okay, they got finessed on this one. It's unfortunate for Dallas. It's great for my Lakers, but yes, a month or two later, I changed my tone for sure.
Headline rewrites.
Victor Robles also suffered a small fracture in his left shoulder in addition to a dislocation. His best case scenario injury timeline will be 12 weeks. What's the real headline?
When it rains, it pours. I know that technically we got this news about Robles shortly before a horrible, ugly loss by the Mariners. But yes, I'm combining the two. I'm combining the two right now because I was already feeling bummed that we wouldn't see Robles until about early July. And now we're coming off a game going, oh man, it is more clear than ever that you need as much offensive help as you can get. And even though Robles is far from a sure thing, he was still a player we were so excited about. This outfield bump was one you were so excited about. Yeah,
and I gotta apologize for Robles. I didn't say this on air, but I was like, man, football player would have shook that off and been good to go. Now I realize my man dislocated and there's a fracture in there as well. Great play by Robles. Remember a few years ago where this team was just the healthiest it could be and everything worked out for them. The rotation was good. You get into the playoffs and it felt like you hardly missed anybody. And if you did, it was for a couple of games or some load management type of thing. The start of this season has been the exact opposite. George Kirby has his deal. You're waiting for Matt Brash to come back from his situation. Now you lose Robles. We're hearing there's some other injuries possibly. There's just a lot going on with this team so early. They're not talented enough to overcome these things. Is it going to be Canzone? Are we going to see one of these young guys this year? You're asking for help in certain places from younger players that you feel like aren't really capable or ready to step into that position and help this team. That's why you need better performances from your dogs out there.
Yeah.
Big up Robles, man. Get healthy soon.
Let's get back to that initial point about the Mariners. We were talking about whether there's like a philosophical misalignment with the approach to the plate versus the players they have in the lineup versus the team they want to be. Like, it feels like a little bit jumbled and maybe not quite perfectly aligned. Maybe that's spending restrictions. Maybe it's free agency restrictions. Whatever it is, you probably don't have the ideal team you want. We also talked about Jerry Dipoto describing his faith in the team by pointing to September and October stats from last season and lamented that we had not seen that version of the offense so far. Julio and Mill Creek fairly pointing out you can't look in baseball at just 1 month. Looking at August and September last year alone was not smart. Here's my thing though, Bump. I don't think Jerry Dipoto knows more about baseball than a lot of people.
Right.
I think he knows that. I think it was a way to spin positivity for a club that people were complaining about.
I mean, that's his job.
Yeah.
He's
I
like,
think
look,
it's clear spin.
yeah, this is what you're supposed to do. You're not going to come out there and say, you know what, they didn't give me enough money to go out get the bats that I wanted, so this is what we had to put together. You got to find some positives. And when you play 162 games, I don't care if you're the White Sox, there's going to be some positive you can reach to. You know, you got to lean on that. It's your job to mentally keep the fans engaged and make your team believe. But when it's all said and done, we felt like this was possible, the start that they're off to. And now it's compounded with some injuries. You got to get lucky in any sport. And so far, they haven't executed, and they haven't been lucky when it comes to health.
Well, we all make little lies. I think that was just, it was hopeful, but like a little lie. You know what I mean? You have a friend that gets a haircut that's awful, but it's too late. They can't put the hair back on. So they ask you what you think, and you go, I love it. It looks so good. It's so unique. That's brave. That's a brave haircut. That's really bold.
The bangs that was the way to go with the bangs.
I got bangs. It was a mistake. Remember when I got bangs? It was not that long ago.
I don't remember, no.
You don't remember? You know why you didn't remember? Because I would constantly pin them back or like try to tuck them a little bit.
I mean, some people can get away with bangs. I'm sure you look fine.
Everyone goes through a phase where they go, should I get bangs? What's the equivalent for men?
Man, mine
for women, it's absolutely should I get bangs, and then you get bangs, and 90% of people hate them.
Mine was seeing the hairline recede and being like, do I just commit to the
let
bald
it go
right now, or do I hold on and be that guy with the thin LeBron hairline up top?
Oh man! All right, we are jumping to the NFL draft, a position we haven't talked about much, potentially at 18 overall for the Seahawks. It's time to focus on it because when you get the right player at this position, it's a game changer. That's next.
When you're on the pitch clock and don't have time for your favorite Seattle sports shows, listen to the podcasts on demand.
How about that? Unbelievable. Who would have thought?
Every hour, every interview, every look behind the scenes.
Dan Wilson's the new skipper.
This is a window. This is a time where we can get it done, and that's the hope. That's the vision for this club.
Find us on SeattleSports.com, the Seattle Sports app, or wherever you get podcasts.
Holy smokes!
Never miss a minute of Seattle sports, the home of the Mariners.
Music that moves your soul. Live at Muckleshoot Event Center, Thursday, April 24th. Get tickets before they sell out at muckleshootcasino.com.
This is the story of the one who, as a maintenance specialist for a historic high-rise, knows that vintage charm historically needs constant attention. Which is why when it's time to upgrade turn-of-the-century mechanicals, they turn to Grainger. With easy access to 1 million+ products and the scale to deliver when and where you need them. The right tools and supplies are never far away. So the one can keep that vintage building running like new. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Do you find yourself stuck in a timeshare? Get the real facts about the timeshare industry and your options for cancellation. Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group, has put together a free information guide that reveals the secrets the timeshare industry doesn't want you to know, including the 5 ways to get rid of your timeshare. Call now and get this timeshare cancellation guide absolutely free.
Call 800-838-6161. That's 800-838-6161. 800-838-6161.
What is that sound? Ugh, that sounds like a plumbing sound. Luckily, there's a company that fixes all the plumbing sounds across Puget Sound. That's All Sound Plumbing. Puget Sound's plumbing experts. Have a sound? Visit allsoundplumbing.com.
Riverside Roofing is offering $1,000 off a new roof replacement. Book a free estimate online, and when you meet with Brandon, that's Don's son, tell him you heard the message on the radio station. Go to riversideroofingllc.com. It's Riverside Roofing, the roofing company you can trust.
Jason Rance here with our local tax expert and advocate Greg Nunn from None Better Tax Resolution. So, Greg, not all tax resolution companies are the same. There are some that are definitely not local. There are others that don't quite know what they're doing even.
Well, I tell you, these ads that all of us hear, Fresh Start program, they make you feel like, hey, man, I can just easy peasy get my taxes written off. No. And I've had several clients actually come to me after going through that process, and they just get no response after a while. They're passed around from person to person. That doesn't happen at my firm.
You are familiar with the cases that come in. You're working on them.
I'm familiar with every case that comes into our office. And I know what's going on and have the ability to really advise our taxpayers very well on what to do.
If you're having trouble with the IRS, then call Greg Nunn. None Better Tax Resolution, from stress to success with IRS Solutions. 425-947-1967 or Google NUNN. None Better Tax Resolution.
Protein, protein, protein. Everyone is trying to get protein in their diet, but we need fats too. Healthy fat, that is, like the rich, natural peanut and almond butters found in G2G protein bars. Most bars don't have it because, well, most bars aren't real food or refrigerated. Fortunately for you, we aren't most bars. At G2G, you'll find a balanced helping of protein and healthy fat. The fact that they're delicious is just the bonus. They're fast, easy, and perfect for on-the-go families. G2G protein bars. Find them in the refrigerated section at Costco.
Subscribe to the Seattle Sports YouTube page to find new and exclusive content from your favorite shows and personalities daily. Just head to YouTube, search Seattle Sports, and click subscribe.
Mike Salk here, and luxury awaits. It's Snoqualmie Casino and Hotel, where comfort meets elegance. And this summer, you can experience the breathtaking Cascade views, the world-class dining and entertainment, and elevate your next getaway by combining effortless style with the utmost relaxation. Plus, Snoqualmie Casino and Hotel's award-winning outdoor summer concert series is back with amazing artists like Hanson, Austin Jenks, Melanie Fiona, and POD. This summer, overlooking the beautiful Snoqualmie Valley, snocasino.com for tickets. Seattle's closest is now Snoqualmie Casino and Hotel.
This is Matt Coker from West Coast Men's Health. Has Viagra stopped working for you? Do you hate the side effects? If you've taken Viagra for any length of time, you already know that pills are not the solution to ED. Here at West Coast Men's Health, we have a better approach to ED. Acoustic wave therapy creates blood flow circulation by safely removing the plaque in your arteries and restoring function naturally. No pills, no shots, no surgery. We can also treat Peyronie's disease. Our non-invasive treatment for ED is painless and highly effective. We have treated thousands of men just like you. Stop living with this problem and do something about it. Do yourself a favor, do your partner a favor, and call us today.
Call 206-519-6541. That's 206-519-6541. 206-519-6541. Online at westcoastmenshealth.com. HSA cards welcome and financing available.
For over 113 years, Pacific Lamp and Supply Company has been your #1 lighting specialist in Washington, from the Space Needle in Seattle all the way to the Riverwalk in Spokane. With the largest lighting inventory in Washington, Pacific Lamp's knowledgeable and experienced staff can assist with any lighting issue, including intricate lighting and control designs. Plus, they work with all utilities in Washington to get you the best available lighting rebates. Pacific Lamp and Supply Company, Washington's lighting experts since 1912. Visit pacificlamp.com.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio, you're listening to Bumpin' Stacy.
Weekdays 10 to 2.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Talking lots of hypotheticals at 18 for the Seattle Seahawks, as well as what they could do on day 2, where the bulk of the really exciting talent might be in this draft. Daniel Jeremiah was on with Brock and Salk this morning, so let's dive into what we learned from DJ. Bump, we'll start with this one, talking offensive line, obviously. Obviously, we're talking offensive line. DJ talking about the importance of scheme for interior linemen, cut 6.
I think every good team, and you'll hear this every time a coach gets hired nowadays, right? Like, when was the last time that somebody got hired and stood at the podium and said, we're going to have a singular scheme? We don't want to be multiple. We want to be very singular. We're going to be very narrow. We're going to do 2 things, and that's it. So I think when you look around the league, I think sometimes we can get fall in the trap of saying this is just purely a zone team, or this is a gap scheme, or, this is a mauling team, this is a moving team. I think the best teams, Kyle and Sean McVay are good examples of that. Look at how their run games have kind of changed and morphed over the last several years. So I don't know that it's quite as much as it was back in like the Alex Gibbs Denver Broncos days, where we're like, we know exactly what that offensive line looks like.
It's important to talk about it, because obviously the Seahawks are going to be looking at a lot of guys who were here last year and hoping that a scheme can change things. How much of an impact do you think it can have?
It can have an impact. Go off of what Jeremiah was saying. You're right. No coach says this is the only thing that we're going to do, but every coach has something that they lean on. So you typically have to find players that fit what you're going to lean on, but you have to be able to do multiple things, or you become predictable as an offense. So I think that it has an opportunity, the scheme has an opportunity to help some of these guys. It's not just going to change the game and all of a sudden this is a number 5 offense in the league. No, that's not how this thing works. But you know that if you are a drop back kind of team, you need some big maulers up front. Guys who can handle the isolations when they're one-on-one, drop back and block for 3 to 5 seconds and be just fine. You know that if you are more of a play action rollout type of team, you're going to have more of the agile type of guards and tackles who can move. But when it's all said and done, you have to be able to do everything, because the worst thing you can do as an offense is just become predictable. So it can help. It can make players better, but that doesn't mean that the guy who's great at the zone type of concepts isn't going to have to be able to pull and take on the end or get to the linebacker and play physical ball. It helps a bit, but it doesn't just fix everything. 18 is a weird spot. In fact, really anything after 15 can kind of be a weird spot to draft, but especially this year. Cut 7. Here's DJ.
Not much. There's very little. It's interesting to me when you look at it. I tweeted this out again, and I'm just going to keep beating this drum. It's just, you've got to just think starters in this draft. Starters. I just want to collect 3 or 4 starters, and that's my goal. And I think that's it's very doable in this draft. There's a lot of those guys, and kind of have the different definitions of that. Like, okay, this guy's I'm telling this guy is going to eventually start, versus this guy potentially could start. And then you start getting into the conversation of, okay, is this someone who can just like plug the hole in the boat for a couple years, or is this like we can check this position off and not worry about this for the next 6 or 7 years? We're going to be good. And I think there are guys like that. I think there are guys in this draft, you're going to be winning players, as you can call them, and we can plug them in and not worry about that position for a little while.
Not much difference between his 15th and 50th player on the draft board.
Yeah, I think that's pretty typical. I mean, guys who are being drafted are drafted for a reason, because they've shown that they can show some type of dominance at the college level. I love his approach when he said, look, you got to look for 2 to 3 starters. And the first thing I did was go back and look at the Seahawks draft history. In 2024, they found 2 to 3 starters. You got Byron Murphy, you got Tyrese Knight, and A.J. Barney, if you look at him as a starter when you mix it up with Noah Fant. In 2023, you got Devin Witherspoon, Jackson Smith, and Jigba. You got Derek Hall as well. There's 2 to 3. In 2022, you got Charles Cross, Boye Mafe, Kenneth Walker, Abe Lucas, and Kobe Bryant, and Reek Williams. There's 5 right there. That should be your approach, because rookies aren't going to save your team, but it's all about building a foundation so you know that they're going to be there for the next 2 to 3 to 4 years. That should be everyone's approach. And then going back to what you said, it all blends in after 15. 15 to 20, it blends in. That's where you start drafting for, all right, what do I need? All right, after you get past your first round pick, I feel like maybe getting into the second round, now you start looking at your spots and saying, okay, well, we need a safety at this position. When you start picking early, it's about just getting the best player available, get them off the board, and find a way to insert them into your offense or defense.
This is going to sound a little disjointed, but we did get some breaking Mariners injury news, so I want to hit you with that, get a quick reaction, and then I'll get back to these cuts. But just so that listeners are aware of the news, and then we can kind of see what you think about this. Some Mariners roster moves just announced from Seattle. Casey Lawrence has been selected from AAA Tacoma. Leo Rivas recalled from AAA Tacoma. Jesse Hahn designated for assignment. Ryan Bliss placed on 10-day IL with a left biceps tear.
I saw it. He swung at one early, late in the game. Went down to a knee, and I said to myself, he doesn't look right. But then I saw him back out there on defense, so maybe the adrenaline kept him going. That doesn't surprise me. I think it was Brock Orsock this morning say they wouldn't mind having Rivas back up. So surprise, surprise, he's back up.
Yep.
I mean, these are the moves that have to be made when guys are injured and you feel like guys aren't performing. The Han one's interesting. Ryan Roland Smith is in the booth with us right now. That's the first thing he said was he's disappointed that Han was out there because he felt our DFA because he felt like he was doing a great job. I felt the same way. So I mean, they're making moves. There's one thing that I can appreciate about baseball: they make the most moves out of any sport. Like from week to week, day to day, a team can really get switched up, especially when you're struggling with performance and you're getting banged up like the Mariners.
All right, so again, Ryan Bliss placed on the 10-day IL with a left biceps tear. Leo Rivas back with the club, recalled from AAA Tacoma. Casey Lawrence also selected from AAA Tacoma. All right, we will get to a bit of that Mariners news with Jordan Shusterman, who joins us at 11. So we are not done there, but wanted to give you guys that update from the Mariners. Let's jump back quickly to these cuts because there are a couple really good ones from Dan and Jeremiah. We'll go to cut number 9, why he thinks there will be a run on receivers.
Over the last 5 NFL drafts, how many receivers do you think go in the first 3 rounds?
In the first 3?
First 3 rounds.
Jeez.
12 and a half.
That sounds about right.
16. We've been averaging 5.6 receivers in the first round. Now, we're not going to get that this year. We don't have those guys this year. But it does, looking at this, I'm convinced second round, we're going to see a run on these wideouts. We're going to see a bunch of them.
How important is it for Seattle to add to that group in the draft?
I think it's very important. You look at who they have as their number one is JSN. He's a third-year guy. You have Cooper Kupp, who's a veteran, who's your number 2, and you have MVS, who's your number 3. You need someone that can grow with JSN. I've said this before. Cooper Kupp is your bridge wide receiver. He's here just to be solid, to teach Jason how he's became successful in this league and to make some plays. But you need a young guy to team up with him. You look at the best passing games in the NFL, they have a 1-2 combo. Right now, on paper, you have a 1-2 combo with JSN and Cooper Kupp, but you won't really know until you get out there. So, yeah, you need a young guy. Receivers have shown they can come in this league early and make some plays.
Let's talk about a position we haven't much at potentially 18, edge rushers. Cut number 11.
At the defensive tackle spot, we go to the edge guys at 18, sitting there. Now you're looking at a whole swath of guys, right? You're looking at the Mike Green, Michael Williams, Izaraku from Boston College. Maybe a little early for him, but he's in that mix for me. Plus, Shamar Stewart, James Pierce. Like, there's a lot of guys. The second round player that I love, and I finally found somebody. I talked to a defensive coordinator a couple days ago. Was the first guy that I talked to that shared my love for Landon Jackson from Arkansas. I think is going to be a really, really good player in the second round. He's an LSU transfer. He's big. He's long. Had a dominant Senior Bowl. Plays really, really hard. And by all accounts, a great kid. So it's weird during this time of year. There's always some guys when you're getting feedback and, there's a lot of love for a player that you're like, I'm not quite as high on him. And then maybe you have 1 or 2 guys that you really like and you can't find sponsors around the league. So when you connect with a coach or a GM who shares an opinion, it was like at least I'm not taking crazy pills.
Hit on the right guy there and it can change your defense.
At that end position, I mean, that is one of the most raw athletic positions out there. So when you talk about a James Pierce out of Tennessee, 6'5", runs a 4.47, you can expect him to come in and contribute automatically. Will he have 10, 11 sacks? Who knows? But he's a guy who can collapse the pocket and make life hell on a quarterback. DNs, running backs are the 2 positions I feel like in football can have the biggest impact as rookies because it's so raw and based on athleticism.
All right, Yahoo Sports' Jordan Shusterman joining us at 11. We will get back to the Mariners in about 20 minutes. Get off my lawn coming your way next.
Seattle Sports, your home for Wyman and Bob. Weekdays 2 to 7.
We got Charlie Furbush in studio with us.
Logan Gilbert is like my spirit animal. How he pitches, how he attacks hitters, and right there behind him is Bryce Miller. I mean, when you look at an actual pitch, they both have this splitter now that is just incredibly effective. I was always jealous of guys that could throw that pitch because it really acts like a fastball a lot of ways, and then it comes in and drops off the table.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Hey, what's up? It's Michael Bumpus here to talk to you about Silver Reef Casino. I went there the past weekend, and the drive was nice, man. Straight shot up the 5, and you are there. You put on a podcast or a playlist, and you are good to go. And when I got there, man, I was impressed. I walked into the Deluxe King room. They have laptops there. Of course, they got Wi-Fi. I got to work a little bit. But when I was settled in, I was hungry. They put some money in my pocket. They hooked me up. So I went down to the steakhouse and had me a nice steak. I didn't eat at the cantina because I was already full, but I went and checked out the vibe, and the vibes were great. And then it was time to relax, right? I want to watch some sports, so I went to Portis Bay Sports Bar and watched baseball, basketball, soccer. They had it all there. Now, the weather was okay. I didn't get a chance to go out to Loomis Trail Golf Course, but I went to the range. The range was awesome. They have that historic clubhouse. They got everything you need at Silver Reef Casino. I suggest you guys go out there. No more FOMO, all right? If you want to get there, visit silverreefcasino.com, and they will hook you up. Tell them I sent you. They'll treat you right.
Did you know your skin is the largest organ of your body? Huh? That's why you should shower with Old Spice Super Hydration Body Wash instead of plain old bar soap. Love your skin by super hydrating it with vitamin B3 and glorious notes of vanilla and shea. Did you know that my super hydrated skin is the second largest organ of my body? The first is my heart. Old Spice. Men have skin too. Old Spice Super Hydration Body Wash. 24/7 renewing moisture. With daily use.
This is the story of the one who, as a maintenance specialist for a historic high-rise, knows that vintage charm historically needs constant attention. Which is why, when it's time to upgrade turn-of-the-century mechanicals, they turn to Grainger. With easy access to 1 million-plus products and the scale to deliver when and where you need them. The right tools and supplies are never far away. So the one can keep that vintage building running like new. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
ZipRecruiter is the place. ZipRecruiter is the place for talented teachers, savvy software developers, and master mixologists. ZipRecruiter is the place where you meet all these people and more. That's because ZipRecruiter is the place for job seekers who are looking for new opportunities. In fact, ZipRecruiter helps 10 million people with their job search every day, so you can find the right candidates right away. It's no wonder that ZipRecruiter is the place for skilled skydiving instructors, accomplished airbrush artists, and proficient pediatricians. But if you're not using ZipRecruiter to hire, you're missing out. ZipRecruiter is the place that's so confident it can make your hiring easier that it lets you try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. So if you want the right candidates for all your roles, ZipRecruiter is the place to go. Try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. Never miss out on great candidates with ZipRecruiter.
Discover LeMay, America's Car Museum in Tacoma. Explore 300 world-class cars, 100 years of history, and the Shinka exhibit with 50 iconic Japanese sports cars. Thrilling race simulators and fun for the whole family. Visit americascarmuseum.org.
Hey, it's Jason Rantz. Our local tax expert Greg Nunn wants taxpayers to know the IRS is now going after older cases very aggressively. If you received Form CP-504 from the IRS, do not ignore it. Be proactive and resolve your situation with Greg Nunn, N-U-N-N, None Better Tax Resolution.
4 down territory, going inside the game with Michael Bumpus.
I like this. More quarterbacks should start doing this.
Every day at 11:15 and 1:15 on Bump and Stacy.
From groceries to home prices, the cost of living in Washington state keeps going up. Now, Olympia politicians are proposing the largest tax increases in state history. Don't be fooled. If taxes go up, we'll all pay even more. Washington needs lower costs, not higher taxes. Tell the politicians no by visiting www.affordablewashington.org. Paid for by the people for an affordable Washington. Top 5 contributors are Washington Alliance for Competitive Economy, Microsoft, Madrona, T-Mobile, and Amazon.
Ladies, and you guys too, have you noticed visible signs of aging, those deep wrinkles, fine lines, and facial creases stealing your youthful glow? Sagging skin, crow's feet, and loss of facial contour are all natural effects of aging, but you no longer have to let them define your appearance. Introducing the new Skin Lift, the groundbreaking facelift led by Dr. Brian Scott. The advanced new Skin Lift addresses key signs of facial aging for women and men, restoring natural youthful contours. Whether it's replenishing volume lost over time or lifting the skin to smooth out those creases, the new Skin Lift can help you look 10 to 20 years younger with both surgical and non-surgical options. It's Hollywood's best kept secret and now available to you. Get a free consultation and save $250 off your new skin facelift. Schedule at newskinlift.com or 206-222-1225. Look 10 to 20 years younger and restore your youthful appearance with the new skin facelift. newskinlift.com.
Jay Leno, live Wednesday, April 9th at Muckleshoot Event Center. Come laugh it up with one of comedy's living legends. No politics, no lectures, just jokes, and they're all clean. Get your tickets before they sell out at muckleshootcasino.com. Jay Leno live Wednesday, April 9th, only at Muckleshoot Casino Resort.
Muckleshoot. From the Quantum Fiber Studio.
This is Bumpin' Stacy.
Weekdays 10 to 2.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
In less than 15 minutes, you are back to Mariners Talk with Yahoo Sports' Jordan Shusterman, one of our absolute favorites. He's going to be joining us every Wednesday at 11, and that begins, again, less than 15 minutes from right now. First, though, it's time for Get Off My Lawn. Every single Wednesday at 10:45, Michael Bumpus tells us the 3 things grinding his gears this week, making him old man style shout, "Get off my lawn. I'm tired of you." What do you got going on?
I'm a man. I'm 40.
What I got going on has been an interesting week for your boy. Okay. And, I'm on soccer dad status this week. My daughter actually has a game tonight. They're making their quest towards another state cup championship. Aww. So Crossfire girls, what year was she born? 14. So, good luck today. Good luck today. And that's where I'm going to start. So what I do is when I'm at my daughter's soccer games, I'm incognito. Like, I don't talk to nobody. I'm off in the cut. And it's not because I don't like anybody. It's just that I just want to watch the game. I don't want to get caught up in the sideline politics and all that good stuff. Even if I feel like my daughter should be getting more playing time, it's up to the coach. I'm not going to get caught up in all that stuff. You make your decisions, coach, even if I don't agree with it. But, so what I do is, if you imagine a soccer field, you typically sit on the side that your kids are on. So if they're on the sideline, like the bench is on one side, that's where your parents line up. And a lot of the times, the parents are so close together, it's hard to see. So what I do is I go down to like the corner where the corner kicks are, and I sit there and I post up. I got a perfect angle of the whole field. But every now and then there comes a parent or two that cuts off my angle. Like you went out of your way to cut off my angle. Either you don't care or you're just not aware. And my daughter's been on this team for about 2 years. You know me. You know I'm going to be in the corner over there. You know that's kind of my spot. Every parent has their spot, right? My mother-in-law likes to sit in the middle and be on the mix. Everyone knows that's where she's going to be. I'm just saying, if I make an effort to go all the way to the corner, so I'm not caught up in the soccer politics, don't bring your butt over there and cut off my angle of the sideline. I need to see the sideline, especially because my daughter plays the wing. She runs up and down the sideline. I want to see my baby girl do her thing. And I don't say nothing. I'll get up and I'll adjust. I'll move a bit more. Then every now and then they creep closer and closer. I'm just saying sideline etiquette at soccer games. You make sure everyone has an angle to see down the sideline and what's going on, because there's no bleachers. We're at a random park. And if you know me, incognito, over in the corner, all right, let me be. Don't come and invade my space. I got nothing against you as a person, but as a dad, I don't want to talk to nobody. I will say hello to you, and I will be polite. But when the game starts, I'm locked in and I'm ready to go. Don't cut off my angle. Thank you, please.
All right, well, good luck to Jada and the girls. What's next?
I'm a man. I'm 40.
360 says incognito or incognito? You heard what I said. Incognito. Okay. Next up. Your boy goes to the gym. I'm trying to, just continue to be healthy. It's very important to me that I'm healthy. And there's a lot of stuff that bugs me in the gym. And for some reason, I went to the gym at a different time. Usually I'm in the gym like at 6 a.m. because it's quieter. You know, there's people who are focused. The other day I had to go to the gym at like 3 right after work. So I go in there, and of course the youngsters are in there. And I'm watching these guys go around, and they're wearing slides as they're working, like flip-flop slides, whatever you want to call them. You're working out in flip-flops. And I'm saying, respect the gym, okay? I don't go to the country club and not have a collared shirt and my shirt tucked in. Okay, I don't walk into a store where it says no shirt, no service and go shirtless. I respect the rules, okay? I don't go to a business casual event with jeans and a t-shirt on. You got to respect the code for where you're at. So if you are one of these youngsters and you're going to the gym, I already talked about the pajama pants. Now I'm talking about the slides. Respect the code of the gym. And what if you clip your toe on something?
Come on.
There's weights in there. There's edges in there. It's a safety kind of thing. You clip your toe, you're leaking, you're bleeding. The ambulance is coming in, and now you're jacking up everyone else's experience. Stop trying to be cool, you youngsters, all right? Put some regular shoes on. Take the pajama pants off, all right? And be responsible, man. Respect the code. I'm going to a country club on Monday. I show up with a T-shirt and jorts on. They're not letting me on the court, Stacy.
No.
And I wouldn't do that. You know why?
Why?
Because I respect the code. Respect the dress code. The gym is getting crazy. I will no longer go in at 3. I can't go in at 8. My only option is 6 in the morning where the responsible people are.
I'm just imagining you glaring at these teenagers, and they're like, why is that guy staring at us? Like, what's his problem? You know, like, well, what's he doing? Is it the wrong, are we doing the wrong form? Like, you know, like, what's going on? And you're just staring at their slides.
Just glaring like,
seething.
Come on, man. I'm just going to step on your toe on purpose so you feel like this isn't safe.
So there are consequences to your actions.
Consequences, man. Come on.
What's last?
Crazy.
I'm a man. I'm 40.
All right, here we go. I'm big on just simple courteous, you know, just being courteous.
Okay.
You know, and I was walking. This one was a new one. I'm walking into T-Mobile Park today. Going through security. Boom, boom, boom. They're nice, good people. And you walk by a bunch of people as you make your way here. Good morning. Good morning. But every now and then, there's a person who just stares at you, looks at your credential, and first off, you're not security. Stop checking my credential. You're not security, okay? Looks at your credential, stares at you, and says nothing. I go, good morning, and they say nothing. And then it reminds me of just people in general. If you're going to make eye contact with somebody, say something, all right? Because where I'm from, I'm almost 40 now, so I'm past these days. But where I'm from, if you look too long, it's about to go down.
It's weird.
It's weird. So I'm walking, and this lady just stares at me. And I go, good morning. She says nothing and stares at me. Good morning. And I stopped. I'm like, good morning. Oh, good morning. Like, why are you looking at me like that?
Stopped and said, good morning,
good
I
morning.
said.
Like, come on. It's common courtesy. If you're going to stare, like, if you're not looking at me, so be it. You know, go on our way. We don't have to say hi.
No.
I'm fine with that.
No.
But if we are making eye contact, right? And I feel you, I see you looking at me, and I am courteous. I say good morning, I'm polite, and you say nothing, now we're going to have a problem. Stop looking at me then. And then stop looking at my credential, and you're not even security. What you gonna call? You gonna call security on me? I got the credential. I'm here every matinee day game. So
also, it's 8 a.m.
It's 8 a.m. on a Wednesday.
Oh, yeah, what do you think? I'm like breaking into the park to steal coffee cups from the cafeteria in the media room? Like,
I don't know, man.
Do?
It's just common courtesy. Don't stare, and if you do, say hello. Like I tell my kids, don't stare, don't point. It's just the little things, man. It's like I got to teach some grown people how to behave sometimes, and that got my morning off to a wonderful start.
Imagine just in general, even if you weren't staring. Let's say that you were looking at your phone and maybe you glance up for a split second, or maybe you're not paying attention at all, but someone just happens to say, hey there.
Yeah.
Imagine not saying anything back.
Imagine.
Looking at someone and not saying anything.
Nothing.
I mean, to stare in the first place and then when they say something, not say anything is especially egregious, but it's already not socially normal.
Yeah.
To not just return, oh, hi.
And dudes, you know, we just give the nod. Head up.
Yeah.
If I know you, head down if I don't know you.
Yeah.
You know, simple as that.
It takes two. Who did you think he was talking to?
I don't know.
No one else is down there.
I said, hello, good morning.
I love that you stopped. I said good morning. We're going to say good morning and ask a few Mariners questions to Yahoo Sports' Jordan Shusterman. He joins us next.
Seattle Sports, your home for Wyman and Bob. Weekdays 2 to 7.
Ryan Roland Smith with us.
I said Emerson Hancock was going to be the dude this year, and then he gives up a 6 spot there in the first inning.
Catching some heat on social media there.
I was.
You should have just responded, just going,
yeah, that's bracket looking. Dave, you impressed me. That's a pretty dialed-in American accent right there.
Not bad. Oh, yeah.
Now, you sound like an American geek, but it's still good.
Hear the rest of this interview on demand at seattlesports.com and on the Seattle Sports YouTube page.
Ooh, ma. What was that?
That is business phone bliss with the Ooma Cloud Phone System. It handles all our voice, video, and messaging needs.
You sound very...
Calm? I am. Ooma has everything I need to run my business more efficiently, like virtual receptionist, call routing, and video conferencing. And it starts at just $19.95 per month per user, plus taxes and fees.
Ooma.
Nice. Find your business calm at ooma.com/radio.
What if your limited inventory had unlimited potential? What if your biggest risk was not taking one? What if you could make every move matter? Bank of America's Business Solutions can help bring your biggest what-ifs within reach. Find out how our digital tools, cutting-edge insights, and trusted expertise can work for your business. What would you like the power to do? Visit bankofamerica.com/banking for business to learn more. Bank of America is proud to be the official bank sponsor of FIFA World Cup 2026.
If you've got a gas-powered engine, keep it running like new at every fill-up. Stable in-season protection is your engine's preventative medicine, cleaning and protecting the entire fuel system in season. In outdoor power equipment, prevent gum and varnish buildup that could cause a rough or non-running engine. For cars and trucks, increase fuel efficiency and power by removing deposits, ensuring your engine's long-term health. Stable outperforms the competition in independent lab testing. So at every fill-up, start with Stable.
Did you know your skin is the largest organ of your body? Huh? That's why you should shower with Old Spice Super Hydration Body Wash instead of plain old bar soap. Love your skin by super hydrating it with vitamin B3 and glorious notes of vanilla and shea. Did you know that my super hydrated skin is the second largest organ of my body? The first is my heart. Old Spice. Men have skin too. Old Spice Super Hydration Body Wash. 24/7 renewing moisture. With daily use.
What is that sound? Ugh, that sounds like a plumbing sound. Luckily, there's a company that fixes all the plumbing sounds across Puget Sound. That's All Sound Plumbing. Puget Sound's plumbing experts. Have a sound? Visit allsoundplumbing.com.
Jake was suffering from osteoarthritis when his doctors asked him to consider surgery.
However, there's a 9-month recovery period where essentially you're not walking and you're not putting much in the way of weight on.
That wasn't going to work for him, so he decided to see Dr. Mark Wagner, MD, at Seattle Sports and Regenerative Medicine for stem cell therapy.
I heard the ads, and that caused me to do due diligence.
And how are you doing now?
There's not really any pain now at all. I have no limitations in what I want to do.
Wow, so you're able to do anything you want to do?
I recently played golf at Cycle House down in Pebble Beach, walked 18 holes, which I hadn't been able to do for a number of years, and then went for about a 2-mile walk with my friend.
I take it you'd recommend stem cell therapy to others then?
Absolutely. Had I known then what I know now, I would have done this several years ago and saved myself a lot of pain and suffering and agony and limitation to activity.
Before you choose surgery, consider stem cell therapy with Dr. Mark Wagner, MD, at Seattle Sports and Regenerative Medicine. Schedule your consultation at drmarkwagnermd.com.
This is Steve Amman, president of Pacific Power Batteries. And when we hear oy vey, zut alors, or oofda, we know that battery prices are high these days. Our job is to control our costs and offer a great value to you. We tried calling our vendors to ask them to stop raising prices, but they haven't returned our calls. Whether it's a brand new battery, a reconditioned battery with a 90-day guarantee, or a factory second with a 1-year guarantee, we'll have something for your budget. So stop in at any Pacific Power Battery store, and we promise to help you.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance specialist for university housing, he knows college students can major in wear and tear. Plus, housing so many students doesn't leave a lot of room to house all the supplies he needs. That's where Grainger comes in. With over 1 million industrial-grade products and fast, dependable delivery, Grainger carries the quality products he needs so he doesn't have to. From a new door hinge to a whole new faucet. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
As a fan, you know all the important sports cliches. And when you save money by bundling your home and auto with Progressive, you can get out there and give it 110%, even though that's mathematically impossible. And remember, failure is not an option. Well, it's always an option, just not a good one. But you're not worried because you've got ice in your veins. You're on fire. How can both of those things be true at the same time? Well, that's between you and your doctor. So get out there and leave it all on the field. Leave what? Who cares? Just leave it and save with a bundle from Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and other insurers. Not available in all states or situations.
Getting engaged? At Shane Company, dream engagement rings are our specialty. We have the most beautiful natural and lab-grown diamonds, hand-picked in every price range, ready to compare side by side. Shop online at shaneco.com or in store. Shane Company, your friend and jeweler.
Let's go!
This is Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app.
KIRO AM Seattle. KIRO FM HD2 Tacoma. Home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports. Seattle Sports Snapshot.
Seahawks tight end Brady Russell signed his exclusive rights free agent tender today. The Seahawks tagged Russell back in March, having spent the past 2 seasons in Seattle. The Mariners close out their series against the Astros with the matinee finale today at 1:10 p.m. Luis F. Castillo gets the start. We'll send you to a noon pregame show live right here on Seattle Sports.
Snapshot, brought to you by Miller Lite. When it's game time, it's Miller time. From the Quantum Fiber Studio,
this is Bump and Stacy
on Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app and at seattlesports.com.
Now, here are your hosts, Michael Bumpus and Stacy Ross.
Here we go now. Yahoo Sports' Jordan Shusterman joining us now in the Emerald Queen Casino Sportsbook Hotline. Jordan, we are excited to have you. How's it going?
I'm great. Thanks so much for having me again. It's coming off a bit of a tough one last night, but happy to always be on with you guys.
Well, let's rip the Band-Aid off and talk about the tough one. 1 for 19 with runners in scoring position. Obviously, that number is going to be uncomfortably high, given that a bad game went into extras, but still the same things that this team is struggling with. Do you expect kind of a regression to the mean, or are they really this bad?
Yeah, it's tough because they essentially played the same game 2 nights in a row, and one time they won and the other time they lost. And so when you have, if you're going to play that many close games, we've seen them have success over a large sample, winning those close games over and over and over, but it just stress tests the stress test for your depth, for your players to produce in those high spots over and over and over instead of just, having a 4-run lead in the 9th inning, as a lot of good teams usually do. It's really, really hard to live that way on a night-to-night basis, and that's what is most concerning.
Hey, Jordan, I'm still waiting for Julio to have his clutch moment this year, and the longer he goes without it, had an opportunity to drive one in last night, didn't get her done late in the game. The longer he doesn't have that clutch moment, the more the fans that are the Julio haters, right, have more ammo to deal with. What do you see in those clutch moments? Is it just bad decisions? Is it a poor swing? Is it a mental? I know it's a tough question to answer, but what are you seeing?
Yeah, it's a good question. I know we're still working with just 2 weeks of data here, but it is an interesting contrast because Julio actually has generally been one of the more productive hitters so far this season. But to your point, it feels like whenever he's up in those bigger spots, it's just not quite coming through. And part of that is just the kind of hitter he is. I've talked about this over the past few seasons. Like, he is liable to chase, and so you have to that's true in the 1st inning, in the 5th inning, in the 9th inning, and in some at bats earlier in the game, perhaps he's not being attacked in ways where he's being especially exploited. But you can understand when you're in Julio's position, if he wants to, come up with that big hit, if he wants to have a situation where he has that moment that everyone's waiting for him to have, it probably, amplifies some of his more troubling tendencies as a hitter that are still generally masked by how talented he is during those other innings. So it is frustrating. He's not the only one that's not coming through in those big spots, but I can understand why he kind of takes the bulk of the responsibility.
I don't know many people that are going to look at the Mariners lineup and say, yes, clear World Series contender. There's clearly a gap in talent between them and, the best teams in baseball. That being said, the AL is fairly crowded, and there are pieces to like with the lineup. When you look at the Mariners, do you see a team with more potential and talent than their stats would indicate? Or do you see a team and go, yeah, offensive struggles kind of make sense?
Yeah, I think that's fair. I think you can see the top of the lineup, especially, Randy has had a couple moments. That's obviously a big impact player that was not there a year ago. But ultimately, we knew that the bottom half of this lineup was not going to seem like one that was especially dangerous. Mm-hmm. And I think you could still say that there is more upside when you maybe hopefully have some of these guys getting more healthy, getting moving more in the right direction. But it can't be that much of a shock. I mean, you have to. There's a level of, when you are building a roster and you invest so little in the offseason and bringing in new faces. Randy is a part of that, but when you have guys that are now not even in the lineup every day like Jorge Polanco, and he's been one of your best hitters so far. Even missing one guy who's swinging it well really brings the lineup down, and I think that was on display last night in particular.
There have been moments in this this season so far where fans are questioning just how prepared Dan Wilson is. His first time, right? I mean, ended the season last year, obviously, as a skip, but first time starting the season off and being that guy. And on a smaller level, Jordan, I've been a head coach and coordinators. There are some things that you just learn on the job. You don't really prepare for. You got to make some decisions. How would you evaluate his decision-making so far?
I think a lot of the questions being asked are very fair, just from the standpoint of, we had that really strange sequence a couple nights ago with Santos and Spire, who believed he was coming in and then had to kind of awkwardly trot back to the bullpen. The specific sequencing of bullpen management, I mean, basically every manager is going to be criticized for that at some point along the season, even the best ones. At the same time, it's more of the things like that a couple nights ago. Some of the other decisions are just some of the sequences where it just feels a little bit off. I think that's where it becomes a little bit more concerning. But again, this is one of the big questions that for the organization to put so much trust in him, last year when, they could have just had him as the interim and then gone through a full search over the offseason, but deciding to stick with him and deciding to trust that what happened in September would carry over. Obviously, we haven't really seen that so far, especially on offense, and I think that's why fans are frustrated.
Going to take a look around the rest of baseball, and then we'll get back to the Mariners and the AL West. You guys, for the pod, have had so many fun storylines already in just under 2 weeks, whether it's torpedo bats or massive contract extensions. And there's a lot of smaller stories that aren't getting as much attention. What to you, Jordan, has been a really fun or fascinating early story to baseball season so far?
Oh man, that's a great question. The bat stuff really has gotten out of control. I'm finally writing a little bit about it this week and just kind of getting back into the discourse, because I mean that story alone is certainly blew up beyond what we can really imagine. But it is a good reminder of how we spend these months and months projecting the teams and talking about the standings, and then 2 days into the season, we're all talking about something that no one had said a word about for all of spring training. And that is kind of the beauty of the season and the sport that we cover. I would say that it has been interesting to see that, I like that there really aren't teams. Even this week, having the Dodgers starting to slip a little bit, having the Yankees start to slip a little bit, it does feel wide open, and I think that could play to the Mariners' benefit. But I think at this stage, when you have still so many teams trying to figure out who they are, it's just so great to have games on every night and to really start to learn something more about a lot of these players basically every day.
Jordan, teams got to be resilient in any sport. Things are going to happen. You got to find a way to work through it. So far, the Mariners have lost Robles. It looks like Bliss is going to be out for a little bit as well. You start the season without Kirby. You're waiting on Brash to make his appearance as well. Do you think there's enough here in the farm system to keep the Mariners hanging around for that inevitable run that we're waiting on?
That is such a good question, and I think that is another part of what was concerning about this roster is, especially when you look at last year and you say, oh, well, okay, sure, all these pitchers will just surely be healthy entirely. And even losing one in Kirby has put them in a difficult situation. And then not just losing one in Kirby, but putting so much stock into Matt Brash coming back and being one of the best relievers in baseball immediately. I hope that he can. I'm optimistic that the talent will shine through as he works to build up. But that was another point of just this offseason that kind of baffled me was how little they decided to kind of supplement the bullpen. And we started to see that already. And I think how Gregory Santos has been so far has been disappointing. I know he's getting his ground balls, but the fact that he has 0 strikeouts that's just not something you see from modern relievers. So I'm curious to the degree to which we start seeing guys start coming from Tacoma. Do you see an ultra-aggressive promotion of some of the younger guy like Cole Young in the coming weeks? That would seem a little bit much, but the way they were talking about him in spring training, if Bliss is out and they want to try to get a spark, maybe they do start pushing some more aggressive buttons than we're used to seeing. But I think it's still a little bit too early, and I think that's why so far, today bringing up a guy like Rivas, you're going to see sort of more half measures for now.
Given a somewhat subdued AL West, it was disappointing for a lot of people to not see more aggressive moves, because if ever there was a season or two, if you want to include last year, where you could really go for it and the Astros weren't at their very best, it would have been this season and last. I'm speaking too early when it comes to this season, but Jordan, we've seen kind of lackluster starts for both Houston and Texas. We're about to head into a series against the Rangers here and see Seattle with back-to-back AL West opponents. What have you made of the division so far?
Yeah, I think that's another part of it that you have to imagine, even just watching these last two nights, seeing the offensive struggles that Houston has had is both shocking, and then also it's like, well, yeah, they don't have Alex Bregman and Kyle Tucker anymore. Like, we all just watched them walk out the door, and they immediately, win Players of the Week in the first week of the season. That's obviously tough for Astros fans. You're also seeing, you get all this hype about Cam Smith, and his story is amazing, but there's a reason why baseball is hard. A guy that had played 20 minor league games, having struggles. I know he had that big hit last night, but they're putting a lot on different guys. Christian Walker has not performed so far in a way that I think they were expecting. And so Texas, I think a lot more of their questions are certainly going to be on the mound. The Angels are certainly off to a good start, but, you look at the Angels in kind of the reverse way where they just simply do not deserve the benefit of the doubt until they are, squarely in position to make the postseason over the final month, because we've seen some hot starts, some hot stretches. Whereas with Houston, you kind of have to look at it the other way, right? As bad as they look just as bad as a year ago when we know how the season kind of ended up going. I think Texas is in best position. I think Texas still probably has the highest ceiling of all of these teams, but they're all flawed, and I think that if the Mariners can stay within striking distance and kind of find their stride, they should still be in the mix at some point.
Hey, the NL West is intriguing to me. You got the Padres at 9-3, Giants at 8-3, then the Dodgers at 9-4. Are there any pretenders in that group? I assume everyone feels like the Dodgers are the real deal, but let's focus on the Padres and the Giants. What are you seeing out of them, and should people take them seriously?
Yeah, I mean, and Arizona certainly has been a team that has come on recently. Like, I think even just last night, San Diego, kind of the scares that they had last night with Merrill going on the IL and then Tatis and Cronenworth leaving the game early. Hopefully those things aren't serious, but the Padres really cannot afford to have almost any of their key players go just because the depth is not really there for them. Their high-end talent really can hang tough with the Dodgers, truly, on their best day. But we know that the Dodgers are just going to be in a much better position to continue to backfill from within. But even them, we've seen them have already some struggles on the mound with health so far. Blake Snell going down is a big deal. I think the Giants are certainly one of the more interesting stories of the season so far in terms of how they've gotten off to a good start. But even they are kind of, coming back there, struggling to score some runs against the Reds over the last couple nights and kind of humbling them in a little bit of a sense there too, because that's another team where not quite to the extreme sense with the Angels, but we've seen the Giants just end up stuck in the middle for 3 years in a row now, and they have to show that they are meaningfully different, and I think it's too early to tell if that's actually the case.
I got a weird one for you, Jordan. I was coming through your X.com account, kind of seeing like, what are some great takes we can explore with Jordan? And I actually landed on you retweeting a famous cold take about Vlad Guerrero Jr.
Man.
It's
yes.
so good, but it made me think, because this is a horrible take. It's a god-awful take. And it's obvious now. But I was like, I wonder if Jordan has ever had a take where you think back and you go, I was so wrong. Is there a player or a team or a season when you were like, because you guys knock it out of the park. I'm a regular listener to your pod. But is there a take that you've gotten horrendously wrong?
Oh, so many. I mean, this is part of the gig is you gotta get out there and just tell them what you believe, and then this is one of my most fun parts of our job, especially now that we've been doing the podcast for so long. Is going back and being like, oh my god, like did I really say that?
What was I thinking?
Did I really pick this team? Now, the Vlad Jr. one that you're referencing, somebody essentially kind of implying that if Vlad Jr. was not the son of the Hall of Famer,
right,
that nobody would care about him. That, of course, proved to be very foolish, as he is now on a $500 million contract. I don't know. I mean, there are so many players. Like, I'm just such a sucker, and I want to believe that all kinds of players, especially throughout Mariners history. I mean, I thought, Roenis Elias was going to be making all-star teams for years. There's all kinds of guys like that I've just grown attached to. But listen. This is the beauty of the sport is once you think you even are remotely close to figuring anything out, you will look very stupid very fast. But that's part of the fun. You got to know that going in, or you're going to be in kind of a bad place, I think, mentally and confidence wise.
Hey, I was looking at just some numbers on Logan, right, as being impressed with what he's done so far this year. It seems like he's incorporated the splitter a bit more and got rid of the cutter. What does that do for him? And do you think that eventually throughout the year you see the cutter reappear, or is that something you feel like is going to be just his approach for the rest of the season?
Yeah, I think that's such a massive development because what Logan clearly established when he first came to the big leagues is he's going to throw strikes. He's going to give you innings. He's going to generally, go deep into games. But it was always like, okay, when are the strikeouts going to come? Because those were not quite there to the same degree. And what he has found, which is honestly something that I think guys like George Kirby are still kind of searching for, is that one offering where it's like, when I need a swing and miss, when I want to end an at-bat with a strikeout, I have this. And that is what the splitter is. I mean, this is a pitch that has clearly become a big deal across the league. I think splitter use, I'm actually curious to check what the overall splitter usage is across the league, because I know it's been going up dramatically over the last few years. It's not just a Logan Gilbert thing, but that's just a pitch that you can go to that that's why, like, you can imagine as he gets deeper into the season and it's more about preserving his inning or preserving his energy and kind of pitching deeper into games, maybe you're using that cutter to get more weak contact from left-handed hitters early in at bat so that we can get a little bit deeper into the game. But right now, I mean, the way he's looking and the way he's kind of piling up the strikeouts, that has really unlocked a new level for him. And I think that's why he'll be, in the mix for Cy Young, is if he can keep going out there and giving him 7 innings every night.
He is Jordan Shusterman of Yahoo Sports. Hear more from Jordan and Jake Mintz on Baseball Bar B Cast. Go subscribe, rate, review wherever you get your pods. Thanks so much, Jordan.
Thanks, Jordan.
Thank you, guys. Talk soon.
Have a good one. Let's get to 4 Down territory.
This is 4 Down territory, going inside the game with former Seahawks and Coug wide receiver Michael Bumpus.
First down, what's a comparison you were ready to challenge, but after watching film, you had to fall back?
Yeah,
Woolman back
I have to
pedal.
fall back. That back pedal. I heard read Gruden say that Will Howard, the quarterback from Ohio State, is like a Josh Allen. I go, man, what you talking about? Will Howard is not Josh Allen. So first I went back and looked at stats. Because when you think of Josh Allen, you think of obviously his arm, but his running ability. Will Howard in his career has 1,147 rushing yards and 25 rushing touchdowns.
That's factually incorrect.
Was not ready to see that. Josh Allen, when he was in college, 767 rushing yards and 12 rushing touchdowns. Blew my mind. So I go, all right, well, the numbers line, let me go look at the film. And then I start watching the film. Now, I didn't watch every Ohio State game intently. I'm checking to see the scores. I'm looking at the receivers because that's what they do. A couple of running backs over there. I turn on the film, and I see it. And I was ready to challenge Gruden. Like, what are you talking about, man? That's not his game. It didn't have to be his game at Ohio State because he has so many other weapons. But the more I look at his movement, his throwing motion, his running ability, he's a big boy. I said, John, you done it. You done it because he does look like a Josh Allen type of quarterback. Can't put that expectations on him, but I thought that was a great evaluation. It was kind of like when Jackson Dart compared himself to Jalen Hurts. And then I watched the film, and he looks like a version of Jalen Hurts. No one's going to be the exact duplicate of whoever, but you always try to look to compare so you have some type of expectation and try to evaluate how they play the game. I think Josh Allen was the perfect comparison for Will Howard. I wonder where he goes in this draft, and it should be interesting. But, John, hey, my apologies, dog. I was ready to come on here and just be like, look, man, you tripping, but nah, great evaluation.
Second down. How is Bill Belichick taking care of his homies?
He's taking care of the homies, Stacy. And this is how he's taking care of the homies. He has $16.3 million to spend on his coaching staff alone, but he kept it about $4 million under that. He has his son, who's his defensive coordinator. He's getting $1.3 million. This is in North Carolina. It goes a long way. He has his offensive coordinator, Freddie Kitchens. Remember him from the Cleveland Browns?
I do.
He's getting $1.15 million a year. And then GM Mike Lombardi will earn $1.5 million a year. Not only is Bill Belichick able to go out there, spend money, and get quality football players in the transfer portal, NIL, and all that good stuff. He is putting together a coaching staff that will get these guys right. I see what you're doing over there in North Carolina, Bill Belichick. You are making this a professional football team. You have professional coaches over there. North Carolina, the University of North Carolina Booster Club is taking care of you as far as being able to go out and get these players. I'm interested to see how good this football team is. You had a first-round pick a couple years ago in Drake May come out of there. A few years before that, you had Mitch Trubisky. I'm going to talk about a player who's going to be a first-round pick, maybe second-round pick in this next downs. But the way that Bill Belichick is going about his business over there, it is impressive. And this is going to happen all across of college football, right? You have GMs now. You have these professional coaches going to the college level because they're able to move in the same way they were to do it in the NFL. Not only is he taking care of the kids on this football team, he's taking care of the homies. And the homies are the coaches. They're getting paid. Watch North Carolina football next year. I am so interested to see how this thing pans out.
Third down. Who's a running back visiting the Steelers you feel will be a 1,000-yard rusher his rookie season?
Omarion Hampton, 6 feet, 220 pounds. He's out of North Carolina. 1,660 yards, 15 touchdowns, averaged 5.9 per carry. Against Wake Forest, he had 244 yards. Against FSU, he had 4 touchdowns. He has 2 more games with 3 touchdowns. He's got a 210-yard game. He didn't rush for over 100 yards twice this year, only twice this year. And I compare him to a Jonathan Taylor type of running back. He has enough wiggle to run by you, but he's good in between the tackles, standing at 6 foot, 220 pounds. He is thick. I've watched this young man play last year, and he doesn't get enough love. It's like you go Ashton Genty, you go to the 2 running backs from Ohio State, and you throw in Scatterbo because no one's seen a guy like Scatterbo in a while, right? The Kirkland signature, Christian McCaffrey. But we need to be talking about Omarion Hampton a bit more. Whoever picks this young man up, he's visiting with the Pittsburgh Steelers today or tomorrow. He's going for 1,000 yards if he is the main guy. If he goes to Pittsburgh, I think he will be the main guy. You still have Warren over there, but he's more of a bruiser. Amarian Cooper is your big play type of guy. He has a log of 75 yards, a log of 71 yards, and a log of 53 yards. And he caught 38 passes for 373 yards and 2 touchdowns out the backfield. He does a little bit of everything. I'm not too sure about his pass pro. I haven't watched that part of his game yet. But when it comes to just the running back position, this is a guy that you need to watch.
All right, Omarion Hampton. We will keep him in our focus. 4th down. What's a position battle for the Seahawks, speaking of keeping it in your focus, that you'll be watching?
Who's going to back up Sam Darnold? All right, who's going to be the guy? Is Sam Howell over there? He does have a season with, 20 touchdowns, 20 interceptions. Are they going to draft a quarterback this year? I think they should. There's some quarterbacks on the back end that I feel like could provide some competition. You know they're going to bring in some arms during training camp because you need those camp arms as well. But who's going to back up Sam Darnold? Because knock on wood, you hope that he doesn't get hurt. When you had Russell Wilson here, he didn't play in, a couple of games. In the games that we expected him not to play in, he magically healed that high ankle sprain and got out there and played some ball. So, no, I'm looking for the backup position because everyone loves a backup quarterback.
Yeah.
I mean, how many times did we hear the crowd calling for Zappy over there in New England because he had a nice drive or two and then he gets a full start and things don't look good? How many times have we Milton over there, Joe Milton, there with New England, who's now with the who did he get traded to? Milton, where'd he go, Curtis? Cowboys, thank you. Now he's over there with Dak Prescott.
There were Geno chants during his first game against Russell Wilson.
There were Geno chants as well. Everyone loves a backup quarterback until you get 16, 17 games and you realize exactly who he is.
And then they hate you.
And then they hate you all over again. So, yes, I'm looking at that backup quarterback spot and seeing what they do in this draft or if they just bring a veteran over. Should be interesting.
Let's see what's on tonight.
What's on tonight with Bump and Stacy, brought to you by Caesars Sportsbook at Muckleshoot. Now, here's what's on tonight.
How about this afternoon? The series finale between the Mariners and Astros immediately follows us. Pregame is at noon, first pitch at 1:10 p.m. right here on Seattle Sports. Timeline coming your way next.
4 down territory. Going inside the game with former Cougs and Seahawks wide receiver Michael Bumpus.
Which Seahawks offensive lineman will have the biggest jump in 2025?
I think it's going to be Chris Haynes. The more I watch his film, the more I understand the offense, I think that this fits him. I think everyone's going to improve. I think Man's going to improve, Gerald's going to improve. But the way he plays the game now fits this type of offense. If Kubiak were here last year, Chris Haynes would have gotten more opportunity.
4 down territory every day at 11:15 and 1:15 on Bump and Stacy.
Who has some of the best deals on new Fords and Isuzus in the Pacific Northwest? Wayscar Ford in Auburn. Who has a large selection of the highest quality used vehicles in the Pacific Northwest? Wayscar Ford in Auburn. Who is the only Ford dealer in all of Washington to offer a 5-day or 500-mile, no questions asked, 100% money-back return policy? Wayscar Ford in Auburn. Who offers a free lifetime powertrain warranty on virtually all their new Fords? Wayscar Ford in Auburn. How about this one? Who's the only dealer that will purchase your used car, pay you right up front, and then once they resell your old car, return 50% of the profit back to you? Only Wayscar Ford in Auburn. They've given back over $750,000 to customers who have sold them their cars. Finally, what dealership has been family-owned and operated in Auburn for 103 years? You guessed it. Wayscar Ford in Auburn. Visit them at wayscarford.com.
Need a new roof, a deck, siding, windows? Get up to $3,000 off any new installation. Hi, it's Justin Shirley, CEO of State Roofing and Exteriors. Home projects can add up fast, but we're here to help you save big. Book now and lock in up to $3,000 off in savings. That's $3,000 off any new installation. Call 866-ROOF-ROOF or visit stateroofing.com to schedule your free estimate today. State Roofing and Exteriors, held to a higher standard since 1968.
This is the story of the one who, as a maintenance specialist for a historic high-rise, knows that vintage charm historically needs constant attention. Which is why, when it's time to upgrade turn-of-the-century mechanicals, they turn to Grainger. With easy access to 1 million-plus products and the scale to deliver when and where you need them. The right tools and supplies are never far away. So the one can keep that vintage building running like new. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Are you a victim of the timeshare trap and think there's no way out? I'm Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group, the original timeshare cancellation expert. And I'm here to tell you that there is a way out. All you need to do is give my office a call. I will send you a timeshare exit information kit absolutely free, explaining how the timeshare industry works and your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your free info kit. 800-371-0505. 800-371-0505.
Keeping your engines healthy means protecting them in season and out. Experts trust Stable to do that. And third-party testing confirms it. Stable is the industry leader in preventing fuel-related issues. No matter if you use it in your car, boat, or outdoor power equipment. In season or out, at every fill-up or when you store. Start with Stable.
As a fan, you know all the important sports cliches. And when you save money by bundling your home and auto with Progressive, you can get out there and give it 110%, even though that's mathematically impossible. And remember, failure is not an option. Well, it's always an option, just not a good one. But you're not worried because you've got ice in your veins. You're on fire. How can both of those things be true at the same time? Well, that's between you and your doctor. So get out there and leave it all on the field. Leave what? Who cares? Just leave it and save with a bundle from Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates, other insurers, not available in all states or situations.
We are Seattle Sports, the home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports.
Watch your favorite show live at seattlesports.com.
You think your home is pretty cool until that summer heat hits, and suddenly your home isn't that cool. In fact, it's hot. Air conditioning from Washington Energy Services can help. Stay cool this summer with our biggest spring savings event ever. This month only, take up to $3,500 off an energy-efficient Bryant cooling system with exclusive Washington Energy rebates. Ensure your home is always the cool house with air conditioning from Washington Energy Services. Contact us today for a free estimate.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is for you too. Stubborn fat is really hard to get rid of, and then there's all those gimmicky lasers, fat freezing methods, and prescriptions. Imagine a simple solution that takes just one day and provides immediate noticeable results. Introducing ProSculpt. ProSculpt uses air-assisted technology that's safe and gentle yet powerful, delivering instant fat-reducing and skin-tightening results. Performed by board-certified plastic surgeons while fully awake, ProSculpt contours your body with minimal downtime. It's designed to target those problem areas: waistline, neck, face, arms, thighs. ProSculpt gently removes unwanted fat and tightens loose skin with FDA-cleared plasma technology, all in a simple, guaranteed one-day procedure. ProSculpt is one and done. Schedule your free consultation at prosculpt.com for $250 off. For powerful permanent fat removal and skin tightening that works for ladies and you men, it's prosculpt.com.
This year, tee it up at home with Synthetic Turf Northwest. Dial in your yard and your short game is sure to follow. Synthetic Turf Northwest is your synthetic grass expert. Install a custom backyard putting green or just a mud and mow-free lawn the neighbors will envy. They do it all. Residential, commercial, and turf supply. With locations in Woodinville and soon Fife. Mention Seattle Sports and save up to $1,000 off your project. Visit syntheticturfnorthwest.com.
This is The Timeline
with Bump and Stacy.
Brought to you by 1-800-DUI-AWAY.
It is the timeline on Bump and Stacy. Before I dive into the stories, as a reminder, we are out of here at noon, which means next is what I need to know. And you guys have 15 minutes to get your questions into the Mac and Jack's text line, 866-979-3776. Send those now. A weird scene in Oklahoma City last night as Luka Doncic was ejected for yelling at a fan. The referee who ejected Luka thought profanities were directed at him. In fact, after the game, the ref, Tony Brothers, was asked about what happened. The question was, why was Luka assessed his first tech foul by JT Orr? He said he directed profanity at a game official. So then they said, why was Luka assessed his second technical foul by Orr? Was it the official's judgment that he was speaking to him or a fan? And then Brothers said he looked directly at an official and used vulgar language.
Referees are so sensitive. Now, if this were true, then so be it. But if you dig deeper into the story, it's clear that Luka was talking to a fan. The fan even admitted it, and the fan was trying to antagonize him. You go back and forth. There's nothing that says you can't get at a fan like that. And these referees, they have to be able to hit the reset button. Just be like, my bad, I got that one wrong. But how often does that happen in sports? Hardly, never. Like, it just never happens in that way. But this also is what happens when you have a reputation. When you do get at the referees, when you do get technicals for cursing at them and being aggressive or whatnot, when they go into a Laker game, I'm sure there's profiles on the guys like, look, Luka's going to get crazy. LeBron's going to cry. I'm like, there are things that referees expect. So when there's anything that resembles that, they're going to be quick to throw the tech sign. But you got to be able to recant, to get back and say, look, you know what? I got this one wrong. My bad. I'm going to take that tech away. But we never see that in sports.
No.
Our coaches used to tell us, like, I've never seen a referee take a call back, ever. Only time we have is during replay review, and they clearly got it wrong. So this is a reputation call.
Well, and what's weird is, like, it's one thing when, let's say we're talking about an NFL game or any game, but this is a little more common with the NFL where, like, it happens quickly. Maybe it's a face mask that wasn't called or was, right? And the discourse starts when the video circulates online and we're talking about it an hour after the game or maybe even 10 minutes after the play. But this was a moment where the second he's called, Luka turns and almost starts laughing and points to the fan. And then the fan starts standing up. And it's almost like people are laughing at kind of the miscommunication and make it clear. Everyone around, you can see other people in the crowd. Everyone's making it clear, like, no, this is a huge mistake. This is clearly a mix-up. And even then, when immediately he's corrected, they don't change it.
No.
That's weird. Former Ohio State quarterback Will Howard shared his funny reaction to Tennessee coming out with their shirts off for pregame warm-ups of their college football playoff game against the Buckeyes. Cut 5.
So now the playoffs start, and here comes the Tennessee Volunteers. It's a cold night.
It was.
In Columbus.
It was, man.
And you see these guys come roaring out of here, the SEC, the Tennessee Vols, without their shirts. And it seemed like they were trying to intimidate you guys.
Oh, yeah. Well, the funny thing is they came out with their shirts on, or their shirts off, and they ran over to the opposite end zone and immediately put them back on. I was like, what are these clowns doing, man? Like, at that moment, I knew we had them.
Honestly, would you think the same thing? If an opposing team, they all come out very intentionally without their shirts on. It's freezing.
Listen, I played ball in Eastern Washington, Pullman. And every now and then there'd be a few guys who run out there with their shirts off trying to convince themselves that it's not cold. But you got 50 to 60 guys running out together.
Yes.
Come on now. You're doing a bit too much. That doesn't prove anything. Oh, I can handle the cold. Can you catch the football in the cold? Can you tackle in the cold? Like, running out and doing a warm-up means absolutely nothing. When a few guys do it, I get it. Right? You're trying to convince yourself it doesn't matter. When the whole team comes out and say, hey, guys, let's take off our shirts.
Yeah.
That's really going to get these guys going. I think it's silly, man. If I were Will, I'd be laughing at these guys, too. Like, come on, fellas. You still got to line up. It's 11 on 11. got to get 10 yards to get a first down, and you got to defend that end zone. Can you do that in the cold?
The best part is looking back at the video and seeing, because you got like the offensive linemen are out there. Like when they say the whole team, it's the team. And you just got guys with resistance bands. Like, let me just show off real quick. I want to intimidate you. It's funny.
Tripping.
It's really funny. Next up. Yankees first baseman Cody Bellinger got food poisoning from chicken wings and a horrible development in his life. He's swearing off chicken wings for 5 years.
For 5 years?
I don't know what's going to
Good
change
luck.
in 5 years.
Good luck with that. There's no way he's swearing off chicken wings for 5 years.
Can't stay away from
you know
wings
how
for 5
vital that
years.
is for an American diet when you go to cookouts, when you're at Super
How are
Bowl
we gonna watch a
parties.
Super Bowl?
Like, what are you doing? It sounds good now. It's like when you have that long night and go, I'm never drinking again. And give me a week, give me 2 weeks, and I'll have a beer.
Of your guys' favorite foods, which could you go without for 5 years?
Okay, so we're talking pizza, burgers, fries, kind of like
I can go without a
universally
burger.
liked.
I can go without a burger.
I
for
can
5
go
years.
without for sure I could go without a
Yeah.
burger. I don't think I've had a fast food burger since I was a kid.
I mean, what about gourmet burger though? I mean, that's
I
a
can
good
go
one.
without. I can go without. It would be harder to give up pizza. I don't know if I could give.
Nah.
I could not go 5 years without
Pizza's
pizza,
vital.
without French fries, without ice cream or desserts. No, not for me.
No.
Could you go without, I don't know, like tacos?
Absolutely
I'd
not.
go without a burger before I
Absolutely
go.
not.
Yeah, I'd go without a burger
Vital to
before
my diet.
anything. Yeah, no, it's a no for me. Cody said, "quote I can say I will not eat wings for 5 years. I swear, because the thought of it right now makes me sick." I think that's going to change for you, Cody.
It is. It
I,
is.
think, I give him 5
Oh, yeah.
months, if that.
Yeah.
If that.
The place, so yesterday on yesterday's show, I brought up a mom and pop joint near our work that I got food poisoning from. I've since eaten that food, and it's been within 5 years. Not necessarily from that place, but I've definitely eaten that cuisine.
It's like you just can't turn your back on certain things. I ordered from a food place that made me sick. Like I was throwing up, and I ordered from them again maybe 2 weeks later. It did not take me that long. I was like, well, maybe it was something else I ate. Maybe it was
just a
who knows?
one-time
Yeah,
thing.
maybe it was just that cook that day, and he wasn't paying attention.
You walk in. Who's in the kitchen today? Who's in the kitchen?
It's because look, it's so good. It's so good. I just simply couldn't walk away. All right, next up on the timeline. Let me get this going here. Got a computer freezing. Okay. Oh, God, this was a scary moment. Grizzlies rookie and Coug alum Jalen Wells suffered a broken wrist and spent the night in a Memphis hospital. So there was a midair collision during this game, and he kind of fell really awkwardly after a dunk and ended up landing on his wrist, which broke his wrist. Initially, it looked like he knocked himself out, or it looked like it could be. I mean, he was motionless. It was a really scary scene. He left the game on a stretcher and had to be immobilized after he was down for 8 minutes. He's been in the Grizzlies starting lineup for most of the season, and Certified got that dog in him because he posted a photo on Instagram from the hospital with a cast on saying, "Go Grizz."
And he had like a cut under his eye. It
Yeah,
was
not patched up
gnarly.
or anything. He was just letting it go.
He got that Coug in him. That's what it is.
Oh, okay.
We bounce back. That's what we do. Many nights I've seen people in Pullman slip on ice, bow, hit their head, and get right back up like it never happened.
I will say, basketball players, they don't get, I think, as injured as football players,
Sure.
obviously, maybe even baseball players. But when basketball players get injured, it is some of the most gnarly, gruesome injuries you
Yeah.
will see. I remember, what was it, Paul George bump? Probably 10
Oh,
years
my
ago.
God.
That was, whoa.
That's
That
what you
was-
know. What they started doing after that, because it was international basketball.
They
and
moved the
they moved
stanchion back, yeah,
that's
'cause-
why it all happened.
He landed right where the stanchion met the ground.
Yeah.
And then his leg, ba-bow! Yeah.
I still remember the Louisville game
Kevin
with Kevin Ware. I
Yeah.
saw that in real time. Real
Sean
time.
Livingston.
Oh, yeah.
God. Okay, let's stop talking about it.
Text in your most gruesome injury.
No, absolutely do not. All right, well, we are heading out of here at noon. We're sending you guys to the Mariners pregame show, which, again, starts at noon, 1:10 p.m. first pitch. You got matinee baseball today. So get your questions into the Mac and Jacks text line, 866-979-3776. Sports questions, non-sports questions, whatever it is that you want to send in. I wish that we could tell you we're setting the scene at T-Mobile. I sure wish you could ask us about what's going on, but instead we're just staring at Houston Astros players. We don't care about these guys. Again, that series finale coming up at 1:10 p.m. Get your questions in now.
Seattle Sports, your home for Brock and Salk. Weekdays 6 to 10.
Talk to our man in San Diego, Daniel Jeremiah.
Home run pick for an interior offensive lineman to fit these Seahawks and plug-and-play starter day one is...
Grace Abel, the ability to get out in space and do things second level and pull them and just give you the versatility. Plus, he's got legit 5-position flex. I thought he would be just a tremendous value for him.
Hear the rest of this interview on demand at seattlesports.com and on the Seattle Sports YouTube page.
We meet by accident, fixing every last bit, Accurate Auto Body.
If you've been in an auto accident, you have the right to take your vehicle to any repair facility. Accurate Auto Body has been family owned and operated since 1994, and they work for you, not your insurance company. Your insurance company may not love them, but you will, because
We meet by accident, fixing every last bit, Accurate Auto Body.
For over 113 years, Pacific Lamp and Supply Company has been your #1 lighting specialist in Washington, from the Space Needle in Seattle all the way to the Riverwalk in Spokane. With the largest lighting inventory in Washington, Pacific Lamp's knowledgeable and experienced staff can assist with any lighting issue, including intricate lighting and control designs. Plus, they work with all utilities in Washington to get you the best available lighting rebates. Pacific Lamp and Supply Company, Washington's lighting experts since 1912. Visit pacificlamp.com.
Hey, it's Jason Rance. I'm here with our local tax expert and advocate, Greg Nunn of None Better Tax Resolution. When you're dealing with business owners and the idea that they owe money to the IRS and they feel like they might be letting their staff down, and it just spirals out of control.
One thing I see with businesses, it's really tough because they have employees and maybe they're having a difficult time with the cash flow of the business. Then unfortunately, what a business often does is they quit making their payroll tax deposits, which is really about the worst thing you could be doing. I mean, it's a telltale sign if you're doing that. Hey, get someone that can help you kind of look at your business and see if things can be changed so that you can operate your business better and make those payroll tax deposits. Because let me tell you this, the IRS is on those right away.
If you're having trouble with the IRS, you have to call Greg Nunn of None Better Tax Resolution. From stress to success with IRS Solutions. 425-947-1967 or Google NUNN. None Better Tax Resolution.
Keeping your engines healthy means protecting them in season and out. Experts trust Stable to do that. And third-party testing confirms it. Stable is the industry leader in preventing fuel-related issues, no matter if you use it in your car, boat, or outdoor power equipment. In season or out, at every fill-up or when you store, start with Stable.
Taxes was feeling so stuck. Sitting in traffic, squeezing into a parking spot, all to squeeze in getting tax help during your lunch break. Now Taxes is a TurboTax expert who does your taxes for you, while you go about your day getting real-time notifications about their progress and the most money back guaranteed. Now this is Taxes. Intuit TurboTax. Get an expert now on TurboTax.com. Only available with TurboTax Live Full Service. Real-time updates only in iOS mobile apps. See guarantee details at TurboTax.com/guarantees.
Bonneville International radio station contests are open to participants 18 years of age or older that are residents of Washington State unless otherwise specified. Employees or agents of the station, Bonneville International Corporation, other area radio stations, or any entity associated with the contests are not eligible to win unless the station otherwise specifies at its own discretion. Persons who have won in the last 60 days from a station contest or event may not be eligible. Full general contest rules are available on seattlesports.com or in person at the station during regular business hours.
The John Schneider Show.
Every Thursday until draft day on Wyman and Bob.
Listen live Thursdays at 4 p.m. or watch the interviews on the Seattle Sports YouTube page.
Hey, this is a great deal. Riverside Roofing is offering $1,000 off a new roof replacement, incentivizing homeowners like you to book their roof replacement right now. It's Mike Salk here, and this is a great time to do it. The days are getting longer. Post 7 p.m. sunsets, those crews can get your roof done quick, just in time for the spring rains to keep your home dry and protected. Here's what you got to do to claim your $1,000 off from Riverside Roofing. Book a free estimate from their website, riversideroofingllc.com, and when you meet with Brandon, that's Don's son, tell him you heard the message on the radio station. $1,000 back in your pocket and a brand new roof over your head. Be sure to ask Brandon about their 35 years of local experience, their GAF Master Elite certification, which puts them in the top 3% of roofers nationally, and the catch-all system, which they use to keep your yard and driveway totally free of debris like nails and shingles. It's all at riversideroofingllc.com. Tell them Mike Salk sent you. Go to Riverside Roofing, the roofing company you can trust.
After years of wear and tear, Joe had osteoarthritis in his wrists and shoulders.
I've pretty much worked out my whole life. I actually decided I'm going to train for a half Ironman triathlon.
The pain was interfering with every part of his life.
Basically, can't sleep, causing those kind of problems, very limited movement.
Joe had surgery, but it wasn't the fix he was looking for.
The doctor told me, he's like, hey, this is just going to be a partial fix. You're going to eventually need joint replacement.
That's when he decided to see Dr. Mark Wagner, MD, at Seattle Sports and Regenerative Medicine for stem cell therapy.
And they're just getting better. I can basically do full motion. I don't have really any pain.
What kinds of things are you able to do now that you weren't before?
I like to golf, and it definitely has made my golf game not as painful. And sleeping. I'm sleeping better because I don't have that aching at night going on and having to roll over.
So, are you recommending this to others?
Oh, everybody I talk to. Yeah, it's a no-brainer.
Before you choose surgery, consider stem cell therapy with Dr. Mark Wagner, MD, at Seattle Sports and Regenerative Medicine. Schedule your consultation at drmarkwagnermd.com.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio.
This is Bumpin' Stacy.
Weekdays 10 to 2.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
It's what I need to know. In 15 minutes, we are sending you to the Mariners pregame show before 1:10 p.m. matinee first pitch series finale against the Astros here at T-Mobile Park. Get your questions in 866-979-3776. What I need to know. Greatest batting stance all time.
Oh, Gary Sheffield, baby.
That's a good one.
Yes.
Curtis?
Griffey.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah.
The best ones you got to do are
the tilt of the shoulders. Just
does an arm motion count as a stance? Because when I was younger in elementary school, every kid did the Ichiro.
Yeah, that's
not the full stance itself, but the Ichiro. You hold out the bat straight. Every kid did that.
I think that counts.
Yeah.
Jeff Bagwell's another one where it looks like he's sitting in a chair.
Oh my God, so low. Those quads were on fire.
Oh, I love this one. What I need to know. Question for Bump. Give 3 compliments to UW.
UW.
Oh.
They have a great medical school.
Okay, thank you.
Great law school.
Yeah.
And their road team is awesome.
Okay.
There you go.
I received that. I received that. Thank you. What I need to know, 866-979-3776. Who's the one player in the NFL draft right now? Forget where he's going to be drafted. One player that would make the Seahawks the best they could possibly be.
The one player to make the best.
Forget not having a chance at.
Because you got to go. You have to go. Because there's no lineman that just is going to make this team the best they could be. You just have to go with the best overall prospect.
Mine's one of the top 3.
And that is Travis Hunter. But I feel like an Abdul Carter can just wreck stuff.
Who's got the 2025 impact?
Oh, man. It's probably Travis Hunter.
I think so, too.
It's Travis Hunter. Put him where you want. Corner. Receiver. We need a receiver. You need corner.
Yeah.
It's Travis Hunter.
He's getting the most reps right away.
Yeah.
Can be a matchup nightmare.
It's Travis Hunter.
Abdul Carter is insanely talented, but impact.
Yeah.
I think you're right. What about Cam? There's just such a learning curve
He's just
for
a rookie.
quarterbacks.
He's a rookie.
I know. What I need to know is MLB 25 the greatest video game ever?
It's one of them.
What's the greatest?
For me,
you can play one forever.
Yeah. My middle child loves that. Me, I'm a big FIFA fan, man. I've been playing FIFA since
lost many college nights.
Yeah, since '95.
Devastating. Is there an edition?
All the sports games are the best games to me. I like the first shooter games too, but sports games are the best.
I'm partial to The Sims.
The only game.
Roller Coaster Tycoon. I was big into Snowboard Kids for Nintendo 64.
1080 was
Mario
dope.
Kart.
Oh, yeah.
1080 was dope.
I played the safer, more friendly version. Snowboard Kids. What I need to know. Let's see. Agree or disagree? Banana bread is an underrated dessert.
Is it a dessert?
I don't know. Is it a dessert?
Yeah.
It's like a pastry.
I never see it.
Okay, so I'll say banana bread is underrated. I'll hold off the dessert. Underrated.
Because I've looked at dessert menus and never seen banana bread.
Right.
But
if
it's
you go up
underrated.
to like a counter at like Starbucks, it's
Yeah.
I'll say I have never once in my life like ordered banana bread somewhere, but every time I eat banana bread, G's wife,
Oh yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
Lily,
Hers comes
her
with chocolate chips.
that banana bread is the best banana bread.
He
I've
brought
ever
some in when you were
had.
out.
So good. Oh, I bought one from him.
Yeah.
There
Yeah.
used to be a breakfast spot in Auburn, RIP to the Sunbreak Cafe, where they would give you like a mini loaf of banana bread with whatever it is that you ordered. Incredible.
Yeah.
Man, it was a COVID casualty. RIP to the Sunbreak.
RIP.
All my Auburn heads know what I'm talking about.
541. We need to make a decision for someone. What I need to know: should I fake being sick and leave for the game right now?
Yep. They need your help.
What do
They need
they
all the
say?
support you can
What do
get.
they say?
Yeah.
What's the excuse they need to give?
Man.
What's a believable excuse if you need to tell your boss?
You always gotta involve
throw
the
up.
kids, but it's spring break this week around here.
It is.
So
It is.
I
kind of
think
tough.
Look, I think the move is you threw up.
Yeah.
You go to your boss and you say, "I threw up."
No, you know what you do? No one can argue this.
I mean, there's another thing.
You number two'd your pants.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
No.
I just number
No
two'd my
one wants
pants.
to be
No.
around people
No.
that have gone number two.
And
First
then
of all,
then
you don't need
walk
to-
like you can't
Yeah.
move. Like,
No, do not do that.
But then you run
Do
the
not-
risk of
no.
becoming diarrhea man
You're
in
gonna,
the office.
You're gonna be poop guy.
Yeah.
You don't want to be poop guy. There was a poop guy at my last job. I'm
What?
telling you, and I
Oh,
still
no.
remember that story to this day. And this man suffered that incident probably in 2014,
yeah.
10 years ago.
Yeah.
That's
Everyone knew.
followed him.
You don't need to tell a lie that
Yeah.
extreme to get out of work. Just tell your boss, I ate
Five-
something. I'm so sick.
The
I need to go.
541 says they're a welder.
You
I mean,
you threw up. I think I would let someone leave. I would say I've done it twice. I can't stop. I think I ate something. I'm gonna weld from home.
to your
Wells from
point,
home.
to your point about like the reputation following somebody.
Yes.
There was a girl in high school who like was on the cheer team and like
Oh, no.
was always like one of the more popular girls
Okay.
in school. But in middle school, I remember her throwing up in the middle of class, and every
I'm
time I
telling
was
you.
like, "You're a throw up girl."
It
Even though
becomes a
you're-
legacy.
Even though you
It's a legacy.
are super popular, I was there. I saw you throw up. We're not naming names.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I don't know what else you can do as a welder. I've never welded. I've never been in part of the welding community. If anyone else who's a welder has advice for another welder that you think that this person's boss would let them leave,
Just get all your welding done early. There you
I
go.
don't think the
Maybe-
welding's ever done.
Right. You also don't want to do a bad job at it because, I mean, then
The integrity of
Yeah,
whatever you're
yeah,
building
yeah.
Yeah.
is compromised.
collapse.
Can you imagine lying and making up the story of like, oh, my kids, but you don't have kids, and then you got to keep up the story that you have kids?
Oh,
The maintenance.
The maintenance.
Let's see what I need to know. Earlier, we were talking about Luka calling out a fan, and then the ref thinking it was about him. And obviously, Luka is penalized, and it was huge miscommunication. Have you ever called somebody out for something only to find out they weren't the ones that did you wrong?
Oh, for sure.
What happened?
I just did it the other day with my kids.
Oh, yeah.
I'm returning a sweater, and I left it in the bag, and for some reason the sweater and the receipt were out the bag. And I go to my daughter because she likes to put things in bags and stuff. I go, "Did you take my bag? You're the only one who likes to take bags."
Yeah.
Jada, like, "Did you take?" "Dad, I didn't take it." And then I'm like, all right. In my head, I go, "Yeah, she definitely took it." Then I found it in my closet, and it was there.
Oof.
I clearly moved it doing
Tough
something.
stuff.
Yeah.
Tough stuff. Yeah, I can't think of anything other than like, what sometimes happens, and this is, I don't know why it's the first thing that came to mind, is maybe you honk at someone or someone honks at you and you're not the one or they're not the one holding up traffic, and then you got to be like, sorry,
Yeah.
this is directed to the car in front of you. Just let it skip over you. This is who this honk is for. 866-979-3776. I saw a rumor about Amari Cooper being a good fit for the Seahawks. Do you think that would be the case? And could you see them adding another veteran receiver?
No. You already got a vet. You got two vets. You got to go young now. That's a young man's position.
Someone said, tell them, for the welder, tell them you're temporarily blind from staring at your weld. I think
then
you
might
go
have to go on
stomach.
disability. Then you get
I know.
on paperwork.
That's so much work. I think you just say, either you barter, look, I'll work 2 shifts, or I'll do
I'll
whatever.
stay late and won't collect overtime or something.
Yeah. Or you say you got sick. Or maybe I almost said tell the truth. Boss, can I go to this game? Say your cousin's playing.
My cousin.
My cousin, Randy Rosarena, is going to be playing in this game, and I simply have to go watch him. I haven't gone to any of his games before.
He's been in town this whole time asking, when are you going to come?
And it has to be now. In fact, we are sending you to the Mariners pregame for this afternoon matinee series finale against the Astros. You're listening right now.
Seattle Sports, your home for Wyman and Bob. Weekdays 2 to 7.
We are excited to announce the Cal Raleigh Show will air every Thursday during the Mariners season at 5 p.m.
I think he could be one of the most beloved characters in Seattle sports history.
He's a huge fan favorite, and on the heels of him signing this deal and showing his commitment to this city and to this organization, I think it's a big deal to have him on every single week.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Are you looking at diversification and stability with your investment portfolio, especially with the volatility right now in the stock market? Hi, I'm Scott Rireka, CEO of Legacy Group Capital based in Bellevue. We've been running local real estate investment funds for over 18 years. We've had 0 investor losses and have averaged double-digit returns since inception. Maybe it's time to take a little risk off the table given market conditions. For stability, there's no better option than Legacy Group's Northwest Fund, a fixed return of 9%. Legacy's Northwest Fund also accepts IRA accounts as well. Find out why over 1,000 local investors have invested over $250 million in our Legacy family of funds. Get in touch with us today. Legacy's Northwest Fund, returning 9%, has limited opening for new investors right now.
Call 425-635-4700 or visit LegacyG.com. That's LegacyG.com. This is not investment advice. Legacy investments available to accredited investors only. Details at LegacyG.com.
Hey guys, did you know that half of men over age 50 have erectile dysfunction on some level? Whether you have mild, moderate, or severe ED, West Coast Men's Health can help. We don't prescribe pills and hope they work. Instead, we treat the root cause of the problem with acoustic wave therapy, which breaks down plaque, unclogs arteries, and restores blood flow. We have treated thousands of men across our 11 locations nationwide and have established ourselves as a leader in the industry. So whether you have ED, Peyronie's disease, or suffer from chronic pain, such as neuropathy, carpal tunnel, or Dupuytren's contracture, West Coast Men's Health can help. No pills, no shots, no surgery, just results.
With clinics in Redmond and Tacoma, call West Coast Men's Health at 206-519-6541. That's 206-519-6541. 206-519-6541. Online at westcoastmenshealth.com.
Did you know your skin is the largest organ of your body? Huh? That's why you should shower with Old Spice Super Hydration Body Wash instead of plain old bar soap. Love your skin by super hydrating it with vitamin B3 and glorious notes of vanilla and shea. Did you know that my super hydrated skin is the second largest organ of my body? The first is my heart. Old Spice. Men have skin too. Old Spice Super Hydration Body Wash. 24/7 renewing moisture. With daily use.
Keeping your engines healthy means protecting them in season and out. Experts trust Stable to do that. And third-party testing confirms it. Stable is the industry leader in preventing fuel-related issues, no matter if you use it in your car, boat, or outdoor power equipment. In season or out, at every fill-up or when you store, start with Stable.
Well, I'm here with my good buddy, Dr. Dan Nelson from Eastside Pain and Regenerative Medicine. And you've heard from Dr. Dan's patients over the years how a simple stem cell procedure has successfully conquered their pain. Well, folks, now it's my turn. After years of dealing with knee pain from all the football abuse, I can say my knee pain now is almost 100% gone. How'd you do it, Dr. Dan?
Well, Brock, personally, I'm very happy that you did so well. And your story is like so many of our other patients who come in, former athletes and non-athletes as well, who have come in with chronic knee pain and and they are looking for alternatives besides knee replacement surgery. And we're happy to provide this service. It's been truly a game changer for so many folks. It's just been a pleasure to be part of this.
Consider Dr. Nelson, the only doctor with over 30 years of experience in pain medicine techniques, including stem cell therapy. I was in and out with a couple of follow-ups. It's a non-surgical solution to pain using your own stem cells. Consider stem cell therapy with Dr. Daniel Nelson, MD at 425-823-4000 or visit DanielNelsonMD.com. That's DanielNelsonMD.com.
Bull riding, the perfect fusion of strength, skill, and pure willpower. Professional bull riders aren't just athletes. They're daredevils with cowboy souls. Come experience the true modern West, where 8 seconds of glory will create a lifetime of memories. It's the PBR Tacoma at Tacoma Dome, Saturday, April 26th and Sunday, April 27th. Tickets available at Ticketmaster and PBR.com. Hold on tight. The ride of your life is about to begin.
Need a new roof now? With State Roofing and Exteriors, you can get started with 0 down, 0 payments, and 0 interest for up to 24 months. That's right. Protect your home now and pay later. Call 866-ROOF-ROOF or visit stateroofing.com today.
Hey, it's Jason Rantz. Our local tax expert Greg Nunn wants taxpayers to know the IRS is now going after older cases very aggressively. If you received Form CP-504 from the IRS, do not ignore it. Be proactive and resolve your situation with Greg Nunn, N-U-N-N, None Better Tax Resolution.
This is Mariners baseball on Seattle Sports.
Take every game with you on the go by downloading the Seattle Sports app.